Like all these rich people were like, hey, look, we didn't kill an innocent person. This guy was death row, but he was also well marbled and we got him. And like, they're just going to throw him down the chute or donate him to the University of Tennessee. But we took his thigh and we seared it. We had a professional, Thomas Keller's here, and he seared this guy's thigh with a pan sauce. Would you try it?
What's up, airheads? Welcome back. It's time once again for Putting on Airs. Time to talk about fancy shit. Dumb boys. We're in the virtual Airstream studio. I'm a dance close to the razor's edge here, Cho. Stuff we're not supposed to talk about, but I thought this was brought to my attention. I had this thought run through my mind this morning. No, we don't do politics, and this ain't politics. It was inspired by politics. It'll make sense in a minute.
It's getting harder and harder to not on this show because like oligarchs are certainly fodder for this show because they're rich and fancy and they are controlling politics. So it's like, it's kind of not fair to us that it's like, we got to talk about one, but like you can't do that without the other. So like, I will make an exception.
100%. The general not hitting nature of the fancy.
I believe that's who Trump just elected the head of the military.
General not hitting nature. Yeah, that's hilarious. General not hitting. But the general not hidden nature of the fanciest among us human beings is like been part and parcel to this show from the very beginning. And you're right, it is kind of inherently political, but it's one of the types of things that like 99% of people, generally are on board with or should be, right? So
sure.
But this is about, it again, was inspired by more like explicit politics. So I found, if people have been around in the Soooo universe for a while, they know that both of us are often told by people we should run for office, right? And both of us are always like, no, don't hit, right? We're not going to do that.
I've been getting it a lot the past 2 weeks.
I know. That's what this is about. So this morning, so the politics thing that happened, Tennessee had a special election yesterday, and the Democratic candidate, people were like, upset alert, and then she got beat by 9 points, but that was still a big shift. So people are like, ooh, what does this mean, right? So that's everybody's talking about that today. So I was talking to producer Matt of Weekly Skews fame, who is a political organizer for his day job. He was texting me about it earlier, and he said something like, "This would be like if Corey ran and something, whatever." And I was like,
he texted asking me to be my campaign
I know. Well,
manager.
that's what I'm getting at. I know that now. But he said that, and I was like, oh yeah, well, I mean, hell. MTG is retiring, so maybe you should kick the tires on Cho, right? Knowing that you're not going to do it. But I didn't know that he had literally like contacted you about it. He sent me screenshots.
And he's been serious.
Screenshots of the text messages. He's like, I've already been trying, right? So then I said something to him, and I want to run it by you in the form of a hypothetical, right? And we've talked a lot, both of us, about how we could never, so many reasons we couldn't run for office. But I want you to keep in mind, I'm about to enter the character of either your opponent or someone who vehemently opposes you, right?
Oh, I love this.
Because when you're in politics, they do oppo research. They come after you.
You got to debate.
They come after you hard, right?
This is one reason I don't want to do it.
I know, because I said that's what I mean. This ain't even about politics. I told Matt, I was like, dude, one town hall where somebody who opposes him says this. And I was like, the resulting scene will go viral intermittently for the next 20 years, I think, because it will set him off so much. Yeah. And here's the statement I made. So you imagine you're in a town hall with your opponent or something, and he says, look, sure. So he's like, okay, so this guy's lived in this district his whole life. Fine. That's true. That doesn't mean he understands you. All right. Are you really going to elect some failed Hollywood comedian who couldn't cut it in show business and decided his fallback plan would be running for office? Are you really going to elect a failed comedian to represent you, right? Somebody says that. In reality, what's your how do you respond to that?
In reality, I would say, well, sir, here's the thing. Failure is in the eye of the beholder. Okay. And I see a lot in this country that people tend to look at everything as wins and losses instead of what is wrong and what is right. And if you are monetarily successful, you must be correct. That's what we look at all these people. Oh, how can this person be wrong about this thing because they've made all this money? And for some reason, we've conflated success monetarily with somehow morality, because it goes back, by the way, to a bias called the just world bias. The just world bias, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, is that all of us truly need to believe that right wins out, and that in the end, good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people. This affects juries. This affects online blotter reports. The just world fallacy runs everything, which, by the way, is one of the reasons we have a system of oligarchs running this country, with a lot of people saying, well, they must be good people because they've been so successful. They must have done something right. And you look at me as a failure, and that's fine. But I would look at you and I would say, I provide for my family. I live in a nice house. I've lived in Chickamauga my entire life. Do I have to? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, whenever I got married, I suggested to my wife that we move to Hollywood and continue to chase my dreams. But I decided not to. And one of the reasons I decided not to is because, regardless of how much I have, and I would like to use this phrase, satirized my area. Some people might say made fun of, but I'd say satirized. And in my world, you write what you know. And I'm sorry, but half of you people also talk shit about this town and this region at your dinner table. But it's fine when you do it because you're not making any money off of it, which, by the way, according to my opponent here, means that you're a loser and you're a failed person. Okay. I live in this town because I love this town. I like to vote in this town because if I go to California, my vote doesn't matter, but my vote actually matters here. I will remind you of 2020 when Georgia turned blue. My vote for the first time in my life mattered. Had I been in California, it wouldn't have mattered. I care about local politics here. I care about the people. I've been a pallbearer at more funerals than you have probably been to, sir, and that is because of the opioid crisis that I care about deeply. I care about so deeply that if I were to win, I would refuse any donations from pharmaceuticals. And I would ask you, sir, where are you getting paid from to even ask me these questions? Failure? Is it a failure that I put a roof over my kid's head? Is it a failure that my wife got to retire from where she was a teacher, by the way, criminally underpaid because of people like you who do not value education, because you see education as a way to make the masses understand things. And when the masses understand things, they don't like you that much because they realize where you're coming from. Failure? Am I a failure because I'm still able to make it as a comedian without even being on the road, without even being in one of the landmark places like New York City or California where, oh, that's the only place to make it? Sir, I have five fireplaces in my home. Okay. 5 fireplaces in my home. Okay. I also have a gazebo. I have a storage unit that I don't even fucking put shit in. Okay. There's a church in front of me that as soon as it goes up for sale, I'm buying it just to put my goddamn shoes in it. Okay. Also, failure is a mindset. I'm successful because I'm happy, and you, sir, are not, because you use terms like failed comedian. You don't know anything about my life. I've sold out clubs all across this country. I've written 2 best-selling books with 2 major publications. I wrote for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Do you think they just give that job to someone who's a failure? I think not. I have Dave Bautista's number in my phone right now, an A-list celebrity who, by the way, I'm one of his favorite comedians. Your favorite celebrity? I'm probably their favorite comedian. Here's the deal with comedy. It is all subjective, sir. And just because you don't like what I'm doing doesn't mean that I'm not good. Everything is subjective, just like politics. You may think that you're doing good for this region. I tend to think that that's not the case, but I wouldn't call you a failure because you're on this stage with me, which means you're trying, which means that regardless of how I feel about your policies, I respect the fact that you care enough to do something to change. So I wouldn't call you a failure, but you go ahead and call me a failure, sir, because that is not how I live my life. I try to think about things in the positive, and I will continue to respect you during this debate if you can continue to show me a little respect. Failure? I think not.
Okay. So that, at first I was like, oh man, he's really, he's really showed me here, because this is like an artful diplomatic response. He perhaps should be a politician. Then 5 minutes later, I
Yeah, I
started
had to hit.
I started thinking, yeah, right. But I do think that
I'd come across and beat the shit out of him is what I
right.
do.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I think in reality, if this was actually happening, you're in this position, and the other guy, which I'm not going to do, but the other guy like kept pressing, right? And again,
Mhm.
my point here is like not even on politics. He just kept because I thought before when people tell me I should run for office, I'm like, because also, dude, I've moved away. Like it's way worse for me. It's like
Right. I
could
stayed here.
couldn't hack it in Hollywood, failed comedian. So he comes back with his tail between his legs type shit for me. So it's like even worse. So like but the idea that somebody coming after you for that, politics are nowhere near it, just like on a personal level. And then if he kept pressing and started implying that like you're not funny, he's never laughed at anything that you've said,
That's
with that
fine.
type of thing. I just think that you would, you just said a bingo, you'd come across the table over or whatever. Like, I just think that
Which
you'd lose your
that's the only
shit,
but
which would
honestly,
be hilarious. But
that's the only way this would be good for my career. Like, because let's face it, I'm not winning, but those moments, could make me hit,
right.
could make me. But I don't want. But as I've told you, I do not want any of that. I don't want exposure just for exposure's sake.
Right.
Like, I
I'm
don't
with you.
want to be. I'm not. I
Yeah, you
don't
want to
want to
earn
be.
it.
Yeah, like and like okay, to some of my friends around here will they consider me like, oh, you're sort of a controversial figure online. I don't think that. They think that like I don't want to be a controversial type person. Like I don't want to be the person that I
Okay.
don't say things just for
I
shock
I feel the
value.
exact same way, and I totally agree with you, but we both are though,
I
right?
know that, but
Like,
I'm
we can't
saying I
there's
don't
no
do it
way
for that.
I know,
But I
I'm
don't
with
do
you.
it for that.
I know, I don't either.
Like
I don't either.
some people do it for that. Like I see some people that I go, you don't fucking believe that, but you know that that's a controversial thing to say, and so you're going to do it because they'll flip flop on it. I don't want to be a controversial figure. I don't want to be one of these. I don't want to be one of these people that's like, can you believe what they did? Like the man on the street people that just go fuck with people and pull pranks and do it. That's all fine and well and good, but like I don't want any notoriety that is not directly related to my work and people's adoration for it. That's what I want. So I don't want. And by the way, let me say this to I'm not qualified. And people go, yeah, well, Trump's not qualified. Marjorie Taylor Greene wasn't qualified, right? But I'm saying let's not continue that trend. Let's
Right.
stop it. Let's stop it. Now do I have, in my opinion, if I was put in that position, would I do the best for the people here? Yes, I would. I would. I
Right.
would listen to them. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of things that people in my district would want me to do
Right.
that I wouldn't be able to do.
Right.
And so, therefore, you could say that I wouldn't be a good representative of them
Right.
because what they're wanting is something that I can't do. However, I do believe, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, honestly, on her way out, has sort of exposed it. They kind of don't care about all that crazy shit anymore. I think that ship has sailed and they were okay with all that crazy shit because underneath it was also the cheaper groceries and the blah, blah, blah. But now that they're not getting that, they're like, okay, well, fuck all this crazy shit. Like, so I kind of do think that, like, when I go to the golf course and I get made fun of, okay, here's one, you'll think this is funny. We were playing not long ago, and they have solar panels at our golf course to
Well,
help run some
I'll
of the
be
golf cart.
damned. Really?
Right,
That's woke
right, yeah.
bullshit. And how did the fucking
It
woke
it
agenda
is.
get to the Chickamauga golf course?
It is. And so where they are is it's on hole number 9, and you have to carry a creek to even get to them. And the creek is 240. So you've got to carry 240. And then these
By
run.
which you mean for
I
people
hit
who
a
don't play golf, you have to hit it farther than 240 to get past the
farther than
creek.
240.
Right.
Yeah, like you can't hit it 240 with roll. It has to
Right.
carry 240 in the air just to get the creek. And which means, like, of course I can hit it that far, but if you tow one, it's one of those situations where you go, if I tow one, I blast one, carry it over the creek and into the solar panels. And instead of my buddies being like, hell of a drive, my buddy Dusty goes, of course the get hit it into the solar panels,
Mhm.
of course that's where your ball ended up. Sorry, Burns, you can bleep that. I shouldn't have said it, but
Well, if
I
that's
wanted to
what
be
he
true
said,
to,
you're quoting
but,
the man.
but
But
I'm quoting the
also,
man.
but I
But
would
here's,
argue that that doesn't really track because as a small town queer, like you would want above all to protect the solar panels. You know what I mean?
I think he meant like my ball was naturally attracted to
the
them.
solar panel.
You
Yeah,
know,
sure.
Dude, it was a quip and it hit.
Right.
It crushed.
Yeah.
It hit for me, like hit for everybody, and also hit for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I can take it.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't play with these guys if I
Right.
couldn't take it.
Right.
Because it's being dished out all the time. Now, I will tell you this for real. It has gotten less and less because more and more of these people, they're still like, well, we're not Democrats, but they're not slamming me for hating Trump anymore because they don't really care for the guy either. You know what I mean? And
well, that's what the whole
there's this
conversation has been about since its election yesterday, is the idea of like, is the tide turning in places like,
it is. It
but,
is.
but
And
I don't, this is my fault. I brought this up. We could keep going if you want to, but we're getting like really
okay,
into politics.
we'll
stuff
stop.
here.
We'll stop.
It's
We'll
up to you.
stop,
If
but
you
all
want
I
to keep
want,
doing it, I'm down. I'm just saying,
no, I don't. I really don't, because I think this is as much political as we should get. But what I do want to say is, because I'm not kidding, hundreds of text messages from people who knew me, thousands of mentions across various social medias of like, Corey, please run. And here's what I want to say to everybody: raise your standards. Okay, raise your standards. Like, I agree with you that if Marjorie Taylor Greene had been who she is the past 5 months the whole time, I'm not saying I'd love her, but I wouldn't have made fun of her as much. I'd be like, hey, whatever. That's a standard sort of McCain Republican. But raise your standards, because yes, while I would be better than some of those people, we need actual leadership. And also, selfishly, and I cannot stress this enough, selfishly, I love what I do. I love creating for a living. I love writing. I love being on these podcasts. And I love, more than anything, because it's not fake. And I think one of the reasons that I've been so successful is like, I enjoy being my authentic self, sometimes to a fault. Sometimes it's like, whoa, Corey, TMI, like maybe hide a little bit of yourself from some people. And you can say, everyone says when they go into politics, like, oh, I like this person, they're authentic. You 2 months later, you're a robot, and you don't have a choice but to be. You don't have a choice but to be. And you're going to be in those rooms, and you're going to realize the compromises you have to make, and you're not going to be yourself anymore. And then once I left office, I'm never again just a comedian. I'm that guy that was this, and I won't be able to be my goofy self anymore. And I love what I do. And selfishly, I never want to stop, and I don't want to be put under any type of radar like that. And also, and I know you understand this, I don't want to put my family through that. If I was single, maybe, but like, dude, I'm not having eggs thrown at my house and my wife fear for her safety. Like, when Marjorie Taylor Greene ran, they literally, the dude quit because they threatened his fucking life. So like, raise your goddamn standards, folks. Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
So, all right. So yeah, switching again. I thought you were tremendous throughout that whole thing. You really were. But again, it's my
Burns, clip that out for me.
My fault for his own personal collection. Yeah, put it in your favorites folder of your cell phone. But that's my fault for even like bringing it up in terms of like how much we ended up talking about it. This was the first thing I wanted to open.
I'd win that debate, by the way. I would win that debate.
Right. Yeah. I know. I just think that, because we were just talking about it on Well Read this week.
I'd have to take a Xanax first,
right? Because you're very like defensive, right? And if someone's like really coming after you or whatever, I don't know. Sometimes I think that maybe that would push you in the other direction. Like sometimes I think that your friends, like when we sort of come after you,
yeah, that hurts. You're my friend.
But also, sometimes we do it because, like, just fucking with you, knowing that it's funny or whatever. Right. And when you play into it and fucking flip,
and also
flip the fuck out.
Sometimes I'm just hitting,
right?
Flip out,
right?
Like sometimes I'm not really mad, but
right. But sometimes I think that like if it was like a real adversarial situation, sometimes I feel like you might actually be more inclined to like lock in and not. Yeah. And not get, because I feel like you would think about, speaker. I feel like you would think about, this is what they want. And the whole spite of like, I'm not giving this motherfucker what they want would be enough to push you in the other direction and actually hold back on that. So I think that that's also a possibility. But
can I tell you something? It means a lot to me to hear you say that. That's very nice of you.
Yeah. So here was the thing I was going to start with. It's way more on brand for us and you and everything. The term baker's dozen show.
Yeah, 13, because the baker's going to eat one.
Okay, see, you answered my question already before I even asked it, right? That they call it a baker's dozen because you just
A
said
baker wants one. You got to try
the
your shit.
baker wants one. So when you're making a dozen for a customer, you make one extra. So you get to try it or you get to have it or whatever too. Yeah, that ain't at all that's not even close to the case. Did you know that?
Really? No,
Really? Really?
because
It's
that makes the
way
most sense.
I agree. I never questioned it for a I was that's one of those phrases that like when you first hear it for the very first time, you're like, "Oh, I get that. I get
I
what,
didn't even have
like
to have it
I know,
explained to
I
me.
know, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's like intuitive or it feels intuitive, which is why it was so surprising to me when I found out that that isn't the origin of it at all. The origin of it is way more Raven in terms of
Oh
the
God.
the past.
Is it
Uh,
black?
but also, no, it is way more Raven in terms of the past, but it also weirdly, in my opinion, just can't stay away from politics today. Almost kind of highlights like a way in which we've fallen, sort of. So I'll explain
Mhm.
it. So the actual origin of Baker's dozen came from the fact that bakers they'd make 13 instead of 12, but they wouldn't keep the extra one. They would give that to the customer too. And so when you ordered a dozen, you'd get 13. Oftentimes you'd get a baker's dozen. And the reason they did that was because like back in the day, there were very, very harsh punishments for fucking people over on bread, right? So like if they order, so like a dozen, it was like, remember when we were in England and they had the like Weights and Measures Act, even today, where it's like
Yeah.
if you order a cocktail, it's very strictly regulated and dictated how much vodka is in that.
Worst thing
Awful
that's ever happened to this
garbage,
country.
right? Awful.
They've got
Where
the
I
they've got the
dude.
fucking the thing where you push the thing.
Especially for a fucking country that loves to fucking get drunk as fuck every goddamn day the way they do. A country with such an entrenched drinking culture, which I get is more about pints and shit than hard liquor. But especially for a country like that, it's a disgrace. I feel like
Yeah.
English people listen, you guys it's absurd. The fact that it's impossible, you can't
It's
find a bar.
ballyhoo.
It is ballyhoo. You can't find a bartender over there that'll, hook you
Hook
up if
it
you're
up.
hook it up because you're a regular, whatever. It's
Or because
bullshit.
they want you to become a regular.
Exactly. So, dude, I hate it. That was one of my least favorite parts of that trip
And the
was
no ice.
getting all the dude. Oh my god, don't get me started on
Honestly,
that.
getting a cocktail over there is
You don't
a
do it.
crime against
I
humanity.
I stopped doing it pretty
You know
early
what?
on.
That's why we felt. You remember? Okay, I was like, because before, back when we first started the tour, we drank every day, and we would. I mean, don't get me wrong, we'd still feel like shit, but we'd somehow make it through. Well, we were in our 20s. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And I remember before we went on this trip, I thought to myself, God damn, man, we're going to be going to pubs every day. I don't know how. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And God damn it, for like 19, 20 days straight, we got drunk every single day. And
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I woke up with butterflies around my head, but like I was able to, we got up in the morning and it 100%. It's because I just didn't drink any liquor because I was just like, I just drank beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes, because I was about to, because I a lot of times, especially when I'm lying to myself that I'm going to be something of a good boy, I'll get like a vodka soda with a lime, right?
Right.
So I'm like, that's a reasonable thing. It's clear, it's clean, it's not as fat as other options. But pretty quickly over there, I just gave up on cocktails, like you said, because of
They
because
don't
of
hit.
what we've been talking. The fact that they don't really fuck with ice in a way that's appropriate. They have ice, but it's just enough to piss you off. It's like, why'd you even
It
fucking put this in
it
here?
don't even make it cold.
No.
It just makes it
Again,
less
it's
good.
it's like a taunting amount of ice. I don't
Yeah.
understand it. But and then also because of this law that they have, the amount of liquor in it's very also at one point early on before I knew better, I ordered a martini, which I'm the
Mhm.
type, it's like they say, like Frank Sinatra, one of them motherfuckers was like, here's the best martini recipe. You shake the vodka with ice, you put it in there, you grab a bottle of vermouth, you wave it in the general direction
Right.
of the martini, and then you set it back on the shelf, put an
Yeah.
olive in it, and serve it. But over there, they can't do that. So it's like a martini glass, 80% of which is fucking vermouth or whatever. It's
Right.
at the fill it. It's
Yeah. I don't
awful.
even want vermouth. I want just olive
Fuck
juice.
no. Fuck no. Yeah. But so anyway, I digress. Anyway, but that law, right? They've had those types of laws for apparently hundreds of years now, because back in the day, they had similar laws about bread and baking, because bread was like, for a lot of people, that's literally all they ate ever or could eat. Do you know what I mean? Or it was like
Mhm.
that was the daily sustenance, was
Of
bread.
course.
Give them this day the daily bread. Like that's all that a
Even
lot of people
though
had.
the Lord said, "A man cannot live on bread alone."
Right, and you literally can't. So they
They
had to
can't.
get
That's
other
why they
stuff
died and coughed
somewhere.
in the
But
mud.
exactly. But most days for a lot of people is not uncommon. It's just bread. So they had laws akin to that liquor law we were just talking about bread, and for bakers, that said like a dozen rolls or whatever is this, a loaf of bread is this, it has to weigh this much, it has to be this much. If you do any less, that's illegal. And back then, the way laws worked, if you got caught skimping on bread, they'd nail your ear to a
Yeah.
tree,
Put you in the stocks.
put you in a fucking cage and dip you in the river
Yeah.
repeatedly or whatever, like waterboard you with a whole ass river, or put you in stocks and let all the other peasants throw maters at your head for 3 days. If you were lucky, right? Chop a fucking face, like
And they
wild shit.
by the way, they would throw the tomatoes at your head, but then they would send their kid over there, "Be you gotta
To
we
get the
still have to
tomatoes,
put
but
that in the stew
we
later."
need that for the pottage tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
so it was, serious business. So
Yeah.
Baker's dozen actually originated from bakers putting in an extra roll or whatever to like
Covering their
cover
ass.
their ass, to cover their own ass, to be like, look, everything's cool. Like, please don't report me to the constable, right?
Wow.
Uh, so that's why that's where Baker's dozen came from.
That's what
Not
Mondani's trying to do, bro. You know what I
absolutely.
mean? Yeah.
Which part?
Nothing. I just
That's
wanted to say a
okay.
thing. Absolutely nothing.
But,
Uh,
yeah, I just thought that was
that
pretty
is
interesting, because
that
that's
is
one of those
very interesting.
it's one of those phrases you
But
hear your
it
whole
it
life and you never even question it, because it
but
seems to
see,
make immediate and obvious sense, but that isn't what it means though.
but what's great about it though is that now that is what it means.
Right, yes.
Like
Language changes and stuff, so
now that 100% is what it means, and it's a more pleasant thing because, like, yeah, we did that like at the store. When we had our cupcake place, like Kirby would always make more because like we had to it wasn't like when I made soup, I could just taste the soup as I went. But when you
Mhm.
make cupcakes, you can't take
Well,
a bite of a cupcake.
also, you could fuck one up or whatever. So
Exactly.
you need to have extra, so you got, like, backups, or whatever.
Exactly.
Um
Exactly. But it was also mainly just to be like, I'm trying to have
I
one of
want
them.
one too, of
I want
course,
one of them. Yeah.
absolutely. It's
And
but,
s-
the
somehow
go ahead.
skinniest I've ever been in my life, by the way, is when I ran a bakery where I was the head soup and quiche man. And also, did you know what I did every morning? Maybe I've never told you this. This right here is my biggest fat. But
Mhm.
I was skinny. This is the number one fat. Every morning, the biggest fat thing that I've ever done. Every morning, I
Right.
would have a large cup of coffee. We didn't have Mama had her creamer in the back, but do you know what I used as creamer?
Was it Now, was it fuck, you definitely have told me this before, but I can't remember. It's something
An
very fat, I know.
entire scoop of whichever ice cream I wanted
Right.
my coffee to taste like that morning. Like,
Yeah.
so every day it was a different flavor. Like, obviously vanilla was your standard, but like every now and then I'd be like, ooh, mint chocolate chip coffee. And I'm talking a full scoop of ice cream every morning. Every
Mhm.
morning. And I looked
Bananas.
great. I looked
Right.
great. You know why? I was 24.
24, dude. I know. That's the youth is some serious shit. But when I say this, like,
Wasted.
I feel like that's what, yeah, another famous phrase that I think does mean what it
I was
seems
about
like
to
it means.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
youth is waste. It's one of those things where it's like well, we can circle back to that in a minute, but like that the cliche of getting older and think, like when you're younger and you hear shit like that, you're like, shut up, old dumbass, or whatever.
So accurate.
And then you get older and you're like, God damn, every single bit of that was true. But anyway, I said earlier, this is indicative of like how far we've fallen. Like people complain all the time about enshittification, but also shrinkflation and stuff.
Yeah. And
You
it's
know what I
real.
mean? Butterfingers keep getting a little smaller year over year, whatever else, right? So the
And they
idea
cha-
that
and they change the recipe.
Right.
I wrote an entire essay on it. Go read it at CoreyWritesForYou.com. It's called Butterfinger BBs and the Decline of Western Civilization, and it's about this.
Okay. On that note, so the idea that in an era where women could get burnt on a stick for knowing math, right? That during that era, the government, the crown, the equivalent of the government was like, hey, that's fucking bullshit. You can't be doing that. You can't, that ain't fair. That's not, there's a social contract. You got to follow it. Fucking people expect a certain amount. You got to give it to them. The fact that they were doing that hundreds of years ago, but we don't do that today or whatever, we just let cause we just bend over and let all these big bread, just fuck us over all they want to.
Speaking of bread, the biggest example of it in recent years has to do directly with bread, which is when someone, I don't know how it took so long, but some dude finally measured a Subway foot-long sandwich, and it was only,
what is it, 10 inches?
10 inches.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck? And so he goes to sue Subway, and their argument was, oh, foot-long isn't a unit of measurement. That's just the name of the sandwich.
Yep.
And they won, right? If we had taken the CEO of Subway out and publicly, as you said, nailed his ear to a wall, we'd be a better country for it. We'd be a better country for it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. It's like there's a famous story about this old CEO of Costco, right? Which this is why this dude gets lionized to this in an era when many people hate CEOs. This dude hits for people because the story is when he finally stepped down and they brought in his replacement, he had a meeting with his replacement the next day and went up to him. He said, do this, do that. This is what's important to me, yada, yada, yada. And at the end, he was like, and by the way, if you raise the price of the hot dog, I will kill you.
I will fucking kill you.
And the guy kind of laughed it off or whatever. And he was like, no, listen, like, I know that sounds, you think I'm joking or whatever. It's like, look me in the eyes. If you raise the cost of the hot dog, I will fucking kill you. Right. And, and they didn't. And like, people respect that kind of shit. The Arizona iced tea guy who's like, I'm not raising. He was like, he said, I make enough money. I'm rich enough. Fucking, I could make more by raising it, but I'm not going to do that. And people respect that kind of shit. But so many billionaires and our fucking overlords, they don't give a fuck about respect.
By the way,
fucking money.
That would also be one of my responses to the failed comedian thing, which is there's a lot of things I know for a fact I could do to make more money as a comedian. But in my opinion, I make enough. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term enough, but some of us understand it. And I live a comfortable life and I donate to charity. I have enough, you know what I mean? But yeah, like I've always, that's what, this is politics, but not about any specific politicians. I've always lobbied for like, hey, if, they're like, we need this guy in office because he's a businessman. So he's going to run the country like a business. And it's like, okay, but his businesses weren't good. Right. So I would say like, why not? Like, first off, I don't think we should have a president. I don't think presidents should exist. I think it should be like a collective of 5 people and they also have checks and balances and they have to work on stuff. But like, if you want to run the country like a business, then get the CEO of Costco and the Arizona iced tea guy to do it because they've made successful businesses where all their employees are happy and they're not extorting anybody. So like, that's why not use them as an example? You know what I mean? Or like, Warren Buffett, who I'm sure is not the greatest guy in the world, but like also not, too many. He clearly knows what the fuck he's doing. And I don't think that he's not paying contractors and shit. Like there's plenty of people that know how to run businesses well. But I would also put it to you that, and this is a controversial take, a country is not a business. You know what I mean? Which I think that's the most important fucking thing. But yeah, the Arizona iced tea guy, man, every interview I see with him, I love him more. Because he really is just like, he'll name like all his assets and all the shit that he's got. And he's like, what else could I want? Like, I have the best life ever. So I'm going to trade in my values for another house I'll never go to. And so you know what I mean? And by the way, all his employees have healthcare. They fucking love him. They're loyal to this guy. It can be done, like it totally can be done.
Yeah. Well, fucking maybe one of these days at the edge of a guillotine, they'll realize it. I don't know.
And on the shrinkflation, by the way, so God damn it, this is politics too, but it's about bread and it's about shrinkflation. So fucking Trump was bragging about how his Thanksgiving was going to be 25% less cost than Sleepy Joe's Thanksgiving. What, by the way, he was referring to specifically was the prepackaged Thanksgiving meals at Walmart, right? Those were the things he was specifically talking about. And it is true that the prepackaged Walmart, like, hey, buy one of these for a poor person, or hey, in lieu of pay, cashier girl, we'll give you this fucking box, so you can have Thanksgiving. It's true that they're 25% less, but like they also took items out of it. They took items out of it.
There you
So
go.
like all in all, it's technically the same price by volume, but just anyways, it's all fucking stupid. But let's take a break.
Yes,
and then we'll come back with zero politics whatsoever.
Shift gears right after this.
Y'all, I want to talk about something that, man, I really wish that I'd learned in school. I wish I'd learned a lot of things in school, to be honest with you. But I'm getting close to 40 now, but around 34 was around the time everything just kind of felt harder. And I don't mean just like working out, just everything. Like I like used to, if I wanted to lose weight, I could just be like, okay, I just won't drink beer for a week, and I would, or I'll just eat, I'll just eat meat and I'll be fine. But now I do the exact same things, but I'm super soft around the middle. Like even when I'm working out sometimes, and my energy crashes at like 2 p.m., even though like I'm getting enough rest, and I don't feel like an old person. I'm much too young to feel this damn old, is what I'm supposed to say. This isn't supposed to be happening at 38. It's damn sure not supposed to be happening at 34. And I've looked into ways to get my testosterone up. And naturally, I went down a huge Reddit rabbit hole trying to figure everything out. But then I found out about our friends at Mars Men, okay, which is better than TRT, in my opinion, because Mars Men gives you the same benefits of optimized testosterone, the energy, the strength, the focus, but it don't shut your body down. There's no synthetics. There's no needles. Thank God, because I am terrified of needles. One of the reasons I'm still alive. And there's no dependency. It's like hitting the reset button on your hormone factory instead of shutting it down. It's just real natural ingredients: tungkat, ali, shalajit, zinc, boron. And we can't say enough about zinc and boron. That stuff supports your healthy T levels, your stamina, and your recovery. And I finally found something that gives me the benefits without all that scary long-term stuff that I've heard from all my wrestling friends. You know what I mean? I love it. And I feel great. I feel a lot more energized. I feel like it's a good consistency energy without that kind of jittery or whatever. It's also made in the USA, third party tested. There is a 90-day money back guarantee. So there's literally no risk. The worst case is if you don't absolutely love it and you get your money back. But over 91% of users report higher energy levels. Thousands of dudes are feeling incredible results. Just check the reviews on their website to see for yourself. And by the way, here is that website for a limited time. Our listeners get 60% off for life and 3 free gifts when you use POA at mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com. Use code POA at checkout. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that POA sent you. Okay? That's mengotomars.com. Promo code POA. Skew.
This message is sponsored by Raycon. Raycon's everyday earbuds, y'all. They're becoming a go-to gift for the holidays, especially around these parts. Got my son a pair just the other day, my 14-year-old son, so he can listen to his own music and not feel uncool about it because his stupid parents can hear it and that type of thing. Got him some hitting Raycons. Raycons came into my life when they started sponsoring this show for the first time a couple years ago, and they immediately supplanted my normal earbuds. I'm not just saying that. That's the truth. They make it incredibly easy to switch between devices, which I really appreciate. There's not some elaborate arcane process you have to go through to figure out how to get it unhooked from this one and hooked to another one. It's foolproof, as they say. And I know because I'm a fool, so I can tell you that they do work in that fashion. I love my Raycons. I wear them every day, wear them on the Peloton, wear them while I'm working weights, wear them while I'm traveling. I wear them literally all the time, and that is the truth. They sound great. They last all day and then some. I've never had them die on me unexpectedly, not once in multiple years. 32 hours of battery life, and they stay comfortable too. Ears never started to hurt, never felt the need to pull them out, none of that. Over 4 million people already have a pair of Raycons, so if you've ever been curious, now's the time. Try them out. They hit for me. I think they'll hit for you too. This holiday season, you can get up to 30% off all Raycon products. Perfect for gifting like I did, or keeping for yourself like I also did. The Everyday Earbuds Classic are loaded with upgrades now. Active noise cancellation, multi-point connectivity, so you can pair with 2 devices at once, and an ergonomic fit that stays put no matter what you're doing. Again, I can attest to that. I don't look like it, but I go pretty hard. I bounce around a lot. I move a lot. They stay in there. The new colors they offer are a vibe. I'm an old boring dad, so I'm more of a just plain black type of guy. But if you are fun and fancy free like Cho here, they've got you covered. They got blush violet, cool mint, and others. And they have everyday features that live up to the name. They charge quickly. Only 10 minutes gives you 90 minutes of playtime, up to 32 hours total of battery life with the charging case. And they have awareness mode, which is perfect for when you're out running errands. You can stay tuned in to the world around you without missing a beat of your jams. Over 3 million customers already love Raycons, and they come with a 30-day happiness guarantee. So if you disagree with those 3 million people and you, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, don't love them, returns are easy. So you literally have nothing to lose. All right. Raycon is going big this holiday season. Everything is up to 30% off. Just click the link in the description or go to buyraycon.com/POA to save on Raycon audio products site-wide. That's buy, B-U-Y, Raycon, RAYCON.com/POA for up to 30% off site-wide. Raycons. They hit. All right. We're back, everybody. What's up? What do you got? Are you going to do something with that golf club?
Yes.
Or are you
Yes.
okay? All right.
You know, I have ADD, and I was like, because oftentimes as soon as we get done recording, I'll go, oh fuck, I had this thing over here and I wanted to talk about it, but I forgot it. I did want to talk about this because this is my newest antique find. We talked about antiquities on last week's episode, and it's not like I'm just going to go, hey, look, I got an old golf club. That's cool. There's actually a story behind it that I just found out before we started recording. So I get this in a set. I really wanted the bag. That's all I wanted was the bag. It was a really nice golf bag, but it came with a bunch of clubs in it. And I got the bag. I was like, how much you want for this? They're like, it's $25. I was like, oh, that's how much the bag is? They're like, you get all the clubs in it. And some of them were super fucking nice. I used the sand wedge, actually. And I have a nice sand wedge, but I replaced my sand wedge with it. But it had this
old.
Not all of them were old. Not all of them were old. One of them was a Callaway Big Bertha sand wedge that was, I know the model. It's from the 90s, but whoever it was clearly never played, or they only used it a couple times. So like essentially brand new sand wedge, and it was great. Cavity back, good grip on it. I replaced my sand wedge with it because I was digging in too much, and it's really, it's probably helped me 2 or 3 strokes. Anyways, this was a club in it. And I noticed, it's a hickory shaft. It's got the leather grip. It's just a nice piece of history. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, it could be like a refurb, or whatever. But I noticed the company here, which I'll show you to you. Can you see that? It's Wales, right? Wales.
Yeah. I can't make it out, but I can see there's writing on it. Yeah. Wales, like the country Wales.
Well, that's what it says, right? Wales putter. And this is, chromium plated, which apparently at the time this was a big deal. I did my research on it. This putter is from between 1925 and 1930, so 100-year-old club, which that's already cool. I got this and the bag for $25. I could sell this club right now for $60. So hey, in my world, I already won, which I'm not going to. But here's the interesting part. Okay, it's the company Wales, right? But Wales, which was a golf company, never made a single golf club. Never made a single golf club. You know what they did? This is fucking brilliant. And I don't know I'm certain there's a modern day equivalent to this. Wales started as a company, right? That they're like, we're Wales. And and golfers love anything that comes from England, and like, the home of golf is Scotland, and there's a lot of courses in Wales or whatever. So Wales creates this company and is just like, Wales golf clubs, and people were like, oh, Wales golf clubs or whatever. But what they did was, instead of making anything, they would license the name Wales. So back then there were really no huge, in the 20s at least, there were not many big manufacturers. Like there wasn't like a Callaway plant. Most clubs were being made by just a dude named Steve, often at the club. Like you would go get your clubs made by this guy. And if they wanted to be able to mark them up, or because like maybe nobody trusts Steve, like, oh, Steve made this, but they do trust Wales because that's a reputable brand. You would just make the club pay Wales a licensing fee and you could put their emblem on it. So each one of these was not, they were all different. Like a Wales putter from Ohio could have been different than a Wales putter from Nebraska because it was two different dudes making it. And all they were doing was licensing the name Wales to put on there. So they were a golf company that had, and again, unless I'm getting this story completely wrong, that had zero overhead, probably not even really any employees. They were just, it's just a dude that was like, yep, if you pay us this, they were franchisees.
Yeah. But they were. I was going to say franchisees.
But the thing is, with McDonald's franchisees,
right,
you still have to like, okay, the store has to be this big and it has to be.
Right.
They didn't even have that. You just make whatever the fuck you want, and if you want to put Wales on it, put Wales on it.
Which I feel like I have a bunch of different thoughts on this. First, I feel like that almost makes it a borderline scam.
Scam. That's what I think. It's a scam.
Right. And but also because like you just said, because I thought the same things. Oh, like franchising. But then I was like, but with franchising, you can't just do what you want. But there's a reason for that, is because the only reason the brand is valuable is because they maintain a standard and consistency. If you just open up any little burger shop and call it a McDonald's, if you pay them X amount of dollars, but you can do whatever the fuck you want, that could harm McDonald's brand if people are doing that all around the world. And so McDonald's wouldn't mean anything as a brand. So really that's a stupid way to approach it. Right.
It's true.
But back then, you know, you buy a putter that says Wales on it in fucking Cincinnati, Ohio or whatever. You're never, ever, ever going to find out that the dude who made a different putter in fucking, Albany, New York, and had it licensed to Wales, you're never going to know that one was way better than the one you got. Or
of course.
Whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like,
and
so they could kind of get away with it. But on that same note, ultimately, that makes me not understand why anybody would actually pay Wales to do that. Like, meaning just put, I get that, like, somehow, first of all, how did Wales become a trusted brand in the first place?
I don't know that. I don't know.
But once they were a trusted brand, I get why you'd want to put Wales on your putters so you could sell more. But in that day and age and everything, we just do it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
how would Wales know?
Just do it. Right. Exactly.
Oh, I'm sure that happened. I'm certain that happened. But
I mean, people bootleg shit all the time to this day. People do that.
But my point is, like, I was already very into this club because I collect old hickory leather gripped clubs. Like, it's just a thing I do. But like, this hits so much harder for me as a collector to know that, like, I'm holding a scam. You know what I mean? But I think that's crazy. But yeah, but I mean, the thing is, it's like, yeah, but Steve, who was making them at his local club shop, he was still incentivized to make a good club, because when you buy a club, you do get to sit there and test it out and putt it or whatever. So like, you can't just put twigs together, call it Wales, and then, fuck you. But like, but it is crazy. But to me, that makes this like a lot more valuable. Terrible putter, by the way. I used it in an absolute dog shit putter. The center of gravity is nowhere near the face. You could almost use it as a quasi chipper when you're in the fringe a little bit, because what most putters, like, it actually has loft on it, which you don't want on a putter because you don't want your putt to rise. But I just think that's a neat little thing from history, and also just proof that, like, yeah, people were just making dog shit. Like, when people say, oh, they don't make them like they used to. Like, it's true that, like, my house, for instance, built in 10 or whatever. It's definitely more sturdy of a house than most houses that are built now. I get the phrase, they don't make them like they used to. But the idea that they never made bullshit and that there was never snake oil is false.
Yeah, well, even I mean, the term snake oil
Yeah.
comes from like the wild,
Old.
or at least I think in my head it comes from like the Wild West, guys walking around, running around in caravans,
Yeah.
going to mining towns and selling literal snake oil. So yeah, they definitely people have been scamming people since the beginning of time.
I mean,
Previous episode about that guy Ian Nasir, who was like a Sumerian copper merchant who was
fire
fucking
guy.
people over. Now the guy that he sold, I think it was copper, and they found these like ancient,
the Yelp review.
Yeah, essentially like a
Yeah.
4,000-year-old Yelp review or whatever. It's like, this dude's copper is bullshit. Don't buy copper from this sorry ass motherfucker. And archaeologists found that years later, and now there's a subreddit dedicated to that guy and how his copper don't hit or whatever. And it's all just like humans is wild, the past is wild, everything. But it's like what you get reminded sometimes. It's like some things have sort of always been the same. It's like how people talk about like Pompeii or whatever, where Vesuvius, wrecked they shit, that because a lot of that was preserved by that and everything, that like in the bathhouses or like the bathrooms there, the equivalent of bathrooms, there was like bathroom graffiti, like ancient bathroom graffiti.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was like
for a good time, call V.
Yeah, don't call. Yeah, for a good time, send a bird to fucking Herodotus or fucking whatever. But yeah, that type of shit. So it's always nice to be reminded of. I'm trying to
find. I want to read that complaint again. I know we've done it on the show, but now that we have new listeners all the time, so I wanted to read it again. Okay, here it is. So the harshest complaint tablet sent comes from Nani, who chiseled both the front and the back of his tablet. I think another thing, and I know you brought it up at the time, is just like how long it took for this motherfucker. Because like anybody can just fire off a fucking, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I wrote 10,000 words of our latest book on my phone while walking. Anybody can, but like to do it now is insane. So here's the tablet was translated by aerosologist A. Leo Oppenheim out of his out of print book, 1967, Letters from Mesopotamia, which I'd love to read. He sends the following message. When you came, you said to me as follows, I will give Gamil Sin, when he comes, fine quality copper ingots. You left, but you did not do what you promised me. You put ingots, which were not good, before my messenger, Sit Sin, and said, if you want to take them, take them. If you do not want to take them, go away. What do you take me for, that you treat somebody like me with such contempt? I have sent as messengers gentlemen like ourselves to collect the bag with my money deposited with you, but you have treated me with contempt by sending them back to me empty-handed several times, and that through enemy territory. And that through enemy territory. Is there anyone among the merchants who trade with Telman who has treated me in this way? You alone treat my messenger with contempt. On account of that one trifling mina of silver which I owe you, you feel free to speak in such a way, while I have given to the palace on your behalf 1,080 pounds of copper, and Umi Abum, which sounds like a monkey with a fez on, has likewise given 1,080 pounds of copper, apart from what we both had written on a sealed tablet to be kept in the temple of Samas. How have you treated me for that copper? You have withheld my money bag from me in enemy territory. It is now up to you to restore my money to me in full. Take cognizance that from now on, I will not accept here any copper from you that is not of fine quality. I shall from now on select and take the ingots individually in my own yard, and I shall exercise against you my right of rejection because you have treated me with contempt. I also think a simple fuck you would have worked. And taken less, because again, dude, like that's like, when you're on you're going to comment on Facebook and you get halfway through and you go, I'm gonna delete this shit. Even when I'm drunk, I'll do that, dude. Like This took hours. Like,
That's how mad he was. That's how shitty that copper was, dude. That's how fucking,
bro.
that's how garbage that fucking copper was he got, man. That's how pissed off he was about it. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like also, and it's like we've talked about this before for sure. And I had a bit that was sort of about this, but like back then, having the capacity to even do that
Yes.
meant you were somewhat erudite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
educated
right.
for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like, so anything we ever read from back then by necessity is going to be like, kind of elaborate and flowery and stuff sometimes. Like, I feel like a lot of times people read stuff from way back in the day. It's like, oh, people used to be so much more proper and everything. But
Right.
it's like, I'm not saying maybe they were, but the fact that we literally can't read things written by the dumbest motherfuckers back then,
Right.
like, has to make some kind of difference. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
no, I couldn't agree more. Like, I wish so badly that we could. God damn it, I am trying right now to find this letter from the Civil War. Perhaps I saved it. Please tell me I saved it. Burns, if I ramble without finding this, please just cut this part out. But I thought of I thought of something like this about this letter that this dude wrote, which also reminded me of that great Greg Giraldo bit about people from the war now writing letters. Okay, here it is. Listen to how fucking beautiful this is, dude, if you don't mind, because I think it's on theme. We're talking about you, because even during Civil War times, like if you could read and write, you were
Right.
something. And that wasn't that long ago, you know?
No.
Um,
What side was this dude on? What was his?
This was a Union feller.
Okay.
So this is I got this from the Instagram Dirty Historian, but obviously it's, public domain. American Civil War Major Sullivan Bayou penned a final letter to his wife 2 weeks before he was killed in battle. My very dear Sarah, should I do it in the voice or not?
Well, keep in mind it's a union guy, so don't do the
That's
like
true.
Gone with the
Well,
Wind
then I'm
voice
then
or
I'm
whatever.
not doing anything. My very dear Sarah, the indications are very strong that we shall move in a few days, perhaps tomorrow. Lest I should not be able to write you again, I feel impelled to write you a few lines that I may fall under your eye when I shall be no more. If it is necessary that I should fall on the battlefield for any country, I am ready. I have no misgivings about or lack of confidence in the cause in which I am engaged, and my courage does not halt or falter. But, oh, Sarah, if the dead can come back to this earth and filt unseen around those they loved, I shall always be near you in the garish day and the darkest night amidst your happiest scenes and gloomiest hours, always, always. And if the soft breeze fans your cheek, it shall be my breath, or the cool air cools your throbbing temples, it shall be my spirit passing by. Sarah, do not mourn me, dear. Think I am gone, and wait for me, for we shall meet again. If I do not, my dear Sarah, never forget how much I love you, nor that, when my last breath escapes me on the battlefield, it will whisper your name. Forgive my many faults and the many pains I have caused you. How thoughtless, how foolish I have oftentimes been. How gladly would I wash out with my tears every little spot upon your happiness and struggle with all the misfortune of this world to shield you and my children from harm. As for my little boys, they will grow as I have done and never know a father's love and care. Little Willie is too young to remember me long, and my blue eyed Edgar will keep my frolics with him amongst the dimmest memories of his childhood. Sarah, I have unlimited confidence in your maternal care and your development of their characters. Tell my two mothers I call God's blessing upon them. Oh, Sarah, I wait for you there. Come to me and lead thither my children. P.S. Do it fart dough?
God damn it. When you got to the end of that, I was gonna be like, yeah, and that's just some dude. Meanwhile, James Joyce was over here like, fought in my mouth hole, or whatever. Famous authors and poets of all time, just being like, what that booty hole do, That's what I was gonna do, but I should have known you were gonna fucking. I would have anticipated that's how that would end.
I didn't think about it till the very end because I realized
Right.
like, oh, this is very serious. I better. But that's
Yeah.
so.
Well, I
But
had
like,
you covered. I was gonna
but
I was
but
gonna break the tension with fart stuff as well,
but
but
also, dude, that bout made me when he said my son will grow up as I have without knowing a father's love. Woo.
yeah.
Woo, these dude were fucking men, son. Like I can't even go on the road and do my job right now because I don't want to leave my son behind. And this guy was like, I'll take a bayonet. Fucking I believe in this shit. And you could tell he loved his kids. You know what I mean? It's just like
Mhm.
that Call of Duty, like
Yeah.
like will
But
we
yeah, right.
what would it
Classic. Best one was Modern Warfare 2, in my opinion. But just the franchise overall, top
hey,
notch. You can't deny it.
you
75 million, Call of Duty fans can't be wrong at some point.
do you play still?
No, I don't.
Okay, because I just got into it.
I used to, but
Okay, because Warzone is free, and Warzone is like the Fortnite of Call of Duty, and it is fun
um,
as fuck.
I did not know that.
It's
Yeah, it's a battle
exactly like
royale.
Fortnite.
Right.
It's just it's real and thus hits. Um,
So
it's
Call
fantastic,
of
dude.
Duty,
You turned me into a gamer, and I'm so fucking happy because I feel like I'm a happier person. Like I can turn off with that better than I can anything. Like with
mhm,
shows and stuff, which I love watching my stories, and I still got to watch my stories. But like I'm still looking at it with like you know how we do like an eye for like how they do this scene, how they do the whatever. But with video games, I'm like, this is not my world at all, and I could never dream for it to be my world. So I'm just going to be R-worded and just. But yeah, dude, get back on and play Call of Duty Warzone. Me and my buddy Divorced Brad play all the time now, and it's rad. I took down a motherfucking helicopter with a handgun, bro, and I only had like 8 bullets left, and we won the motherfucking round. Anyways, they've also got one now. I want to play with you. It's like Call of Duty, but it's the Napoleonic times, right? And dude,
okay.
it's
With
so
fucking, like, muskets,
yes, dude. And
single load muskets and shit?
And people really like the people because you can hear everybody. They really get into character. Like they'll be like, "Once more into the breach, old boy,"
Mhm.
and fucking, it's so funny. Me and this dude, we shot at each other, and then me and him both had to sit there for 2 minutes while both of us fucking just, and we were just having a chat. Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is what are you gonna do? It's so fucking funny. I want
I
to do
mean,
like a
that is
POA
funny.
live stream of it.
Yeah, that, Call of Duty was just like also Halo. I've said this before, tons of people have said the same thing. It's not a universal experience, but for an aging gamer, especially an aging gamer parent, I think it's pretty universal. I just reached a point at some point in time, like when the boys were little and stuff, and I had a job and was doing comedy on the side and everything, and I wasn't playing as much. So when I would fire it up and get back on
You're
there,
getting dusted,
just run through by a
but they
gaggle of
handicap it now.
12-year-olds in no time. And it just, it just literally took all of the fun out of it for me. So I
They
stopped playing. But
handicap it now,
I know
though.
you're right. It's different now because then years later, when they wanted to play Fortnite, I played Fortnite with them, and I realized that it's like if you suck, you'll be with other people who also suck. So
Yeah.
that was always the way it was supposed to work, but they weren't as sophisticated at that
Yeah,
time. And
now they just use AI.
now they're pretty good about that sort of matchmaking thing.
They
So
also have bots in there too. Like if there's not enough people to sign up for it, they put bots in there, but like they go way harder than just like NPCs or whatever, but they're still like to your strength. It's really cool. Hey, you want to hear Tony Yayo talking about stuff that hits for him?
yes, I do. When do you think should we take 2 breaks this
Yeah, we
week, you
should.
think?
We should
You want
definitely
just
at
go ahead and
least
take
two breaks.
another one right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, let's
Alright,
take a
we'll take a
break.
break and we'll come back.
Y'all, my relationship with alcohol is a little bit like my relationship with Star Wars. Loved it ever since I was a kid. It's mostly been fine, but every now and then it's like, oh, Jesus, this again. Why? Why? Can't just stop. You know what I mean? Aren't you getting a little old? For the love of God. And when the holiday season rolls around, it's very difficult for me because I'm trying not to drink as much, but there's always these parties. There's parties every weekend, and often parties with people that it's not that I dislike them. It's just that, like, we don't have anything to talk about. And it makes it a lot easier if you have a drink in your hand. And normally that's alcohol for me. But not only does that make me feel bad the next morning, but all that sugar adds up and I get my belly bloated as if I need any more help doing that. But guess what? This season, I'm going to reach for Soul's out of office gummies instead. And they've also got a drink, okay? Cold nights, cozy blankets, and Soul's out of office gummies. It's literally my new favorite routine. I throw on like this, like I'm probably gonna watch Christmas Vacation a million times, a little stoned, grab a gummy, unwind. It's just a little self-care ritual that keeps me calm through the holiday chaos, and I'm not gonna wake up feeling terrible. The holiday season's stressful enough, and alcohol, as we all know, adds to your stress. In the moment, it may help it, but eventually it just makes it worse. As we always said, was alcohol, you're just borrowing happiness from tomorrow, right? You got the shopping, you got all this stuff. Get you a gummy. Your life's going to be a lot better. Soul is a wellness brand that believes in that feeling good should be fun and easy. They specialize in delicious hemp-derived THC and CBD products designed to boost your mood and, excuse me, I just burped because I had a Soul beverage, help you unwind. Their best-selling out-of-office gummies were designed to provide a mild, relaxing buzz, boost your mood, and enhance creativity and relaxation with 5 different strengths. That's very important because too much, and I think the government's looking for me. But some people can handle that. You can tailor the dose to fit your vibe, from a gentle 1.5 milligram microdose to their newest 15 milligram gummy for a more elevated experience. And if you like their out-of-office gummies, I'm telling you, my favorite thing is the out-of-office beverage because I get the low-dose ones, so I can take 3 or 4 to a party and drink them like they're a beer, and nobody questions me. Because you know when you go to a party and you don't have a drink in your hand, people are like, what are you doing? What's going on? And you can't just be like, oh, don't worry, I'm gummied up, bro. Like, no, I just have that. It's a fizzy drink. Nobody has to know. It's delicious. I feel great. I wake up feeling awesome, and it's made from organically farmed, USA-grown hemp. It's also vegan. It's also gluten-free. It's low in sugar, and it's federally legal. Take advantage of Soul's Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal now. For a limited time, get 40% off your entire order. Go to getsold.com and use the code POA. That's getsold.com, promo code POA for 40% off. Don't miss out on their best deal of the year. This deal is going on all through the holidays. Do it to it. Skew.
Let's talk about wallets. What do you think? Wallet. Every man needs a wallet, and every woman needs to get her man a wallet. I say he's going to need a wallet. You know, we need to rethink how we feel about wallets. What we do in the wallet game. Because look, I know I'm like a lot of dudes. I believe I got my wallet in circa 2003 at some outlet in Opry Mills, and just never thought about it again. Then I started adding items to it over the years: gas cards, Dollywood season passes, Zoo memberships for a place I only went to once ever, you know, on and on. And of course, any man knows you put it in there and it's gone forever. Might as well be a black hole. I mean, you know where it is, but it never comes out, is what I'm saying. And it just builds up and builds up. And soon you got this big, thick, crusty leather brick that you're packing around in your back pocket. And some of us are like, that's all right. I like it looking fat. I want the ladies to know I got a fat wallet back there. But look, you get older, your back don't like it. You're sitting cockeyed all day. You're screwing up your vertebrae, getting bulges in your disc and stuff just because you're too stubborn to rethink your wallet situation. Well, that's why you need to know about Ridge, this week's sponsor, because Ridge has done the rethinking of wallets all for you. They've revolutionized the wallet game over there at Ridge. You probably already know Ridge for their unique, slim, modern wallets, but they've taken their game-changing wallet and made it even better. They got the Ridge 2.0. The most refined version of the Ridge wallet yet. They've been working on the wallet for over 12 years. Look at that. That barely even looks like a wallet, right? Look how sleek, futuristic, all laid out in chrome. Looks like RoboCop's wallet, don't it? Tell me it don't. Everything on the Ridge 2.0 is better. 10% lighter. They've made it more modular with improved cash straps and money clips and AirTag attachments so you can customize it as you see fit. Improved surface design with tonal logos and matching plated cash straps. It's made with only premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Right. And you can put up to 12 cards in here plus cash. They got over 50 colors and styles to choose from. Now they offer you can get them. Get a wallet that features your favorite NFL, MLB, or college team, right? Perfect for the sports fan in your life, perfect for holiday gifting, especially because Ridge right now is having the biggest sale of the year. They have an industry-leading built-for-life warranty over there at Ridge. So even if your wallet is lost or stolen, they have you covered. And it should give you peace of mind knowing that every Ridge wallet has RFID blocking technology, which keeps you safe from digital pickpocketers. There's over 100,000 five-star reviews, proof that Ridge is a gift that people love to receive. Ridge does a lot more than just wallets, though, just so you know. They create all kinds of premium everyday essentials like key cases, suitcases, and their game-changing power banks, which you can see right here. Your phone like sticks to the side of this, charges your battery up. I only have this long enough to show it to you before my wife demands it back. Came in the mail addressed to me. She stole it immediately and uses it all the time. And I don't know about y'all, but I've had a lifelong phobia of so paranoid about the possibility of ever losing my wallet, so much so that every time I stand up from a seated position, I do the triple tap all my pockets. Most men know what I'm talking about. It's constantly with me, this fear, as it is with many of us. But with Ridge's tracker card, you'll always know exactly where your wallet is before panic mode starts to kick in. So give the gift of peace of mind for the holiday traveler in your life. They want gifts that stay out of the junk drawer and find their way into the morning routine, to their travels, and to the adventures that we all share. So for a limited time, Ridge is having a huge holiday sale right now. So go to RIDGE.com and get up to 47% off your order. This is by far the biggest discount they've given all year. That's ridge.com for up to 47% off your order during the biggest sale of the year. After you purchase, they will then ask you where you heard about Ridge. So please support our show and tell them that POA sent you. Putting on there. So that's, you just go to ridge.com, you get up to 47% off. And when you go to checkout after you purchase, they'll ask you, how'd you find out about us? Tell them POA sent you. Ridge, update your wallet, for God's sake. It's time. All right, we're back. Tony Yayo talking about stuff that hits for him.
Yeah. I'm not going to play the whole thing because it's pretty long, but I sent you a thing the other day of him talking about eating duck or whatever, but somebody has compiled Tony Yayo just talking about stuff that hits for him, and it hits for me. So here it is.
They had us eating duck, filet mignon. We had the restaurant shut down in Romania. I'm fresh back from the Swiss Alps. So I said, let me just eat some bison and mashed potatoes. I need some rest, maybe a couple of massages, little caviar pancakes. Mm-hmm. My answer's being on a private jet, eating that smoked duck in Morocco. That's my nigga. Yeah. We staying in the Waldorf Astoria. We drinking his Lashem. We drinking Branson because he got it up in there. Boy. You know what I mean? We eating calamari, fucking duck and shit. This is my first time eating salmon trout. You eating croissants.
Salmon trout.
You know, all the salmon portions are smaller. You know what the burger was? Reindeer. It's kind of less headaches overseas. You know, you eating caviar pancakes. When we go overseas, they call us the caviar rap groups. I'm eating duck in Romania. I'm not. It was French toast day. We had French toast because their breakfast is amazing. You know, they French toast, we had potatoes, the bacon. Like I said, I was eating bison on the mountain. As much as I love caviar pancakes, when I come back here, I wanted a beef patty with cocoa bread. Being on the jet.
Here's the thing, too. First, I just wanted to show you that, you know, Tony Yayo, he just like us.
Right.
Caviar pancakes. What do you think that's about? Like, is that caviar just on top of pancakes, or is this they've taken roe and like sort of seared it into its own pancake?
Well, first of all, and maybe this is obvious, but that has to be, you know, they'd be having, and you know, you're a pancake connoisseur, right? But they'd be having like savory pancakes and stuff like that is like a thing. I've never fucked with those personally. I
haven't either. I think I'd like them.
In other places, they have savory pancakes, and one of the options is, I assume, no, they had, dude, I've never seen caviar, I don't think, served any other way other than like as a finishing item.
Right.
Because it's such a like delicate and expensive thing that you can't, I don't think that you like mix it into batter and shit. So you use like some savory pancakes with probably some creme fraiche or something like that, and a little, like a dollop of caviar, I guess. But you know, Lord, if I know, I'm not on that. I'm not fancy like G Unit alumnus Tony Yayo.
You know, I wouldn't. So when the first time me and you had real caviar, we ate them on baninis, correct?
Right. On this show, right? An early
on this show.
I know. I was just thinking about that too. That's kind of like
is like a little pancake.
It's like a little sort of thick but small little pancake. I mean,
and
yeah,
we had it
so it
with
is like that.
creme fraiche. So yeah, I know for a fact I like it. Now I don't think I would want a full pancake size thing of that but like the Benini. I'm saying
You know
that right?
what?
No, Bellini,
That's
Bellini. No, Bellini's a drink.
yeah, I'll be honest with you. Let's find out. But that what you're talking about, I bet that's what he means.
I bet that's what he means too.
I'm getting this panini. Obviously, it's not panini. Small round bread for
Bellini.
caviar. Blaney.
Bellini, just
So
Bline.
Blaney, those are bite-sized and slightly thicker Russian pancakes. So
They're fire.
That's what he means. That was him
Okay.
just using layman's terms. The same thing we ate, that's what he's talking about. But he's just calling it like it is, caviar pancakes, you know.
He's also a huge fan of duck. Every time I hear him talk, he's talking about duck, and he's talking about it as Tony Ayo does with anything, as if like, you know, that he's doing the hitness thing in the world. Is duck considered super fancy? Like, I didn't know that. Because
I
like
don't know
around
super,
here,
but it's definitely fancy. Yeah. I
well, you know,
definitely think it's
because
fancy.
that's a trash redneck overlap. And I guess I say that because just like we lousy with duck just because my father-in-law hunts them. So like I can get a duck whenever, you know what I mean? But like maybe I guess in France, they're not as lousy with duck. So
Well, you've talked about before about how people also hunt rabbits and shit like that. Rabbits. You went to the French Laundry and had a rabbit
and
dish
it was
or
the
whatever.
best thing. It was the best dish
So
there.
I think maybe it's kind of like that. So duck hunting is big in North Georgia.
No, he
He
goes other
goes
places.
elsewhere to do it. Yeah,
He
right.
goes to he goes to South Georgia. He's a member of a hunting camp there, and also he goes to Canada. Like right now, he's semi-retired. He's retired from teaching, but he's still a contractor. So all he does, like his dream was like, I'm gonna work my ass off, which he has done and he continues to do. And then when I retire, I am fucking off whenever I want. I ain't even telling my kids when I leave. Like, dude, he was in New Zealand for 2 weeks and we didn't even know until day 5 that he was gone. You know what I mean? And he goes on.
This is who your father-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Father-in-law.
Amber didn't know her dad was in Kiwi land.
She found out because she checked his location because she was going to go to his house to print something off and wanted to know if he was at home. Because that's how cheap Amber is. She has to print stuff off all the time, and it'll be like, "Hey, I'll be in the middle of writing something," and she's like, "Hey, watch Bane, I got to go print something off." I was like, "Baby, just get a printer." She's like, "Why would I? Dad has one." I'm like, I hear you when it comes to things like pools, but like we can get a printer, you know. And she checked his location. She's like, "Huh, he's in fucking New Zealand." And sure as shit, he was in New Zealand. So I texted him, and he started sending me pictures of like these like whatever type of deer looking thing they got over there that he was, you know, shooting. He don't do none of the big game. Like he's not doing like the line. He has been to Africa. But he didn't do any of the like, hey, we're just going to drop you off here and you shoot this fucking gazelle. Like he went on a safari and they shot some birds while they were out there. But Danny is like, we've talked about that. He's like, I like to hunt. He's like, I like the hunting part of it. Like, that's the part that hits, you know. He's like, if we got a guide that's going to take us to a place where like this is their native, whatever, he's like, but I want them to leave me the fuck alone and me get my call and me. And he loves duck hunting because in duck hunting, like him and his buddies, dude, they get in that blind and they're just in there drinking fucking beers, having a good time. And then, you know, duck, pow, pow, pow. So yeah, he just got back. He did New Zealand, Canada, Africa, and this is all within like a calendar year. And he somehow built like 5 houses between now and then. Like he a wild cat, dude. But anyways,
like it.
Yeah,
but yeah,
anyways,
like you don't think of like like duck a l'orange.
I do think
You know
that
what I mean?
yes, you're
Like
right. I do
it's
like
fancy.
that is fancy, but Tony Yayo mentions it all the time as if like only we hit so hard that we get duck. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure duck is accessible to, you know, I don't think it's that inaccessible of a meat, but yeah, the way the French do it is better. But what I'm suggesting is maybe it ain't as many ducks in France, you know.
I mean, I have no idea, but maybe.
Duck à l'orange is one of my favorite meals. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, you just think about with the French, I mean, they gussy up any kind of food a
That's
lot of
true,
times.
and I
You know what
mean,
I mean?
steak
Like
is
they,
fancy, but we still lousy with cows.
right? Yep,
Yeah, I don't know what I
exactly.
was thinking.
Yeah.
Um, I
Well, no,
do
I
love
get it. But well, let me ask you this though: you got duck. You're just lousy with duck. Duck just falling out of the sky down there. But like, what do you do? Do you eat them trashily too? And I don't mean just you. I just mean people in Chickamauga because there's so much duck around. Like,
I don't know what
be
other people
making like just like
most people are
just a
probably just doing duck
pot of
chili.
stew with it, yeah,
Yeah,
like duck chili and that
yeah,
type of thing
yeah,
versus
they're yes, because people in
sear
Chickamauga
rendering the fat and fucking, all that stuff.
I know people who are duck hunters and have been eating duck their whole life, and they don't believe me that you can eat it rare,
Yeah,
because
that checks out. I
which by
buy
the
that.
way, when I first heard that, I too was blown away because I just think of bird. It's a
Poultry, yeah,
bird.
right. Yeah,
Poultry,
it's
right?
foul.
But it's
Yeah.
not. It's red meat. And there's some people they won't do that. Well, there's some people that even
How
at like
what is that, by the way? How does that how
I
that
don't
be?
know.
I
I
knew
don't
that
know.
too, but how is duck, which is so akin to a chicken
It's a
in my
chicken.
mind, how is it it's a water chicken. How is
It's
a
a water
water
chicken.
chicken red meat the
I
way that
don't
a
know.
fucking cow is? How'd that work?
I don't know, but that's why to me it's the best because it still do have a little bit of a chicken. I mean, if you overcook it, have a little bit of a chicken the way that it sort of breaks apart. You know what I mean? Like you could shred it like you could a chicken. Like when you shred beef, it doesn't shred like chicken. Whereas if you shred duck, it can shred that way. But that's why duck is my favorite meat because it is the perfect combination of chicken and steak. And when you cook it rare, it is just it's unbelievable, but nobody around here will like they make fun of me when I do it like that. They're like, you got fucking that duck still that thing's still quacking. I'm like, you goddamn right. You know what I mean? But
So
yeah, I think most of these dudes are just making duck stews, duck chilies, duck jerky, which by the way,
right.
I've seen people, and my father-in-law is one of them, take such good meat and turn it into jerky.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
upsets me. By the way, I love jerky, but you make jerky with the
Right.
dog cut.
Of course, yeah.
Like
Right.
jerky,
That's like the whole
especially
point of it,
and
ostensibly.
jerky's practical for him. Like he makes jerky to take on
Well,
his hunts.
yeah, I was about to say, I guess really, I said that's the whole point, but really the original whole point of jerky was stretching meat out for a long time and not letting it spoil. So I assume you would end up turning some pretty good shit into jerky just by necessity, but we don't live in that time no mo. There's deep freezes and refrigerators and shit. So like you ain't got to do that,
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true.
but it says that so it's treated as red meat in the kitchen because of its rich flavor and dark color, which is a result of the high myoglobin content in the muscles of the duck. Myoglobin is a protein that carries oxygen, so there's just
It's
more
also the reason why some chicken that's fully cooked can look pink because they're higher in myoglobin. I just learned that.
If you knew about myoglobin, why was you asking about the red meat? Like,
I didn't know that it was in. I didn't know that
you
was a
didn't know
duck.
that,
I
that was
just learned it. I just learned that via chicken. Like literally, like I just
right.
saw a guy
So
that said
chicken
like,
must have less myoglobin, I
yeah,
guess, or
over
this is a Google AI overview, so this could also just be straight up
no
wrong. But
overall it doesn't have a lot. The point with this video was this guy was like, you're at Thanksgiving and someone's cooked a chicken or a turkey or whatever, and someone goes, "Ooh, it's pink." So he's like, that doesn't always mean that it's
yeah, right,
underdone. He goes, which is why you always just use the temperature. He said, because
right.
it's rare, but some chickens have higher amounts of myoglobin and it will cause their skin to remain pink, even though it's cooked completely. Which turkey, sometimes if you smoke a turkey, the turkey will be a little pinker or whatever, and some people will balk at it, but it's just because that particular bird happens to have a little bit more myoglobin. But I didn't consider that. I thought ducks were just their own whole thing. Like I did.
So it's because ducks actually fly. Chicken and turkeys both don't. Birds that actually fly will have more myoglobin in their muscles because it helps them store the oxygen they need for sustained flight. So
So
that's
you
what
could
it
eat a bald
does.
eagle rare.
It's because yeah, I mean, that seems to me like that would track. That would make sense, if you want to
Let
be
me
a
ask you.
communist. But
Well, let me ask you. Okay.
no, I bet they don't hit. You
No,
think
no,
that
no.
they hit?
And I don't know. I don't know. What I'm saying is I would never shoot one and procure one to eat it because it's illegal. It's a felony, and that's our country's bird. All I'm saying is you're at a party, right? One of these Hollywood parties, and they're like, "Hey, come down here. We got a fucking bald eagle." Like,
Mhm.
are you trying it? It's already
Yeah,
dead.
it's already dead. That's what I was about to say. It's already dead. They've already done it. It's already cooked. Yeah, I think I
And
probably would,
also
yeah.
there's that whole like not many people have done this. Like you're
Right.
not supposed to do like there's n- I'm a good person sometimes, but like I
Because
think
you could
everybody
argue it would be disrespectful to America
you're going to
to
throw it
not.
away?
Right, exactly. You don't wanna end up in the trash, that's something at least give
Right.
me a red-blooded patriot, allow it to supply me with some caloric energy, that's at least something. That's a use that this noble bird could have died for. Now, of course, if it says what I'm then using that energy on, it would probably kill itself all over again. But
Right.
it's better than nothing, right? So
Okay.
yeah, I think I would have to eat the bald eagle if I found myself in that scenario. Yeah.
Okay. Same party, death row
Mhm.
inmate, right? And he
Yeah.
was
Do you
he
hunt him for sport?
no, 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 no. He was no, you don't do that. I mean, like okay, hypothetically it's
You're gonna
literally the
execute him anyway. Why
you're
not
gonna
turn him loose on the compound and see who can kill him
and
first and
and
make it
and
a point system?
and he's admitted that he did all these things and he was a kitty diddler. So like like this is morally you're so well number okay two-part question. Would you hunt him?
Okay, so you literally were going for hunting for sport, like that's where
No,
this
I
was
was
headed?
going for
Okay.
would you eat a piece if
Of
he
the man?
of the man just to see. Like all these rich
Okay.
people were like, "Hey, look, we didn't kill an innocent person. This guy was death row, but he was also well marbled, and we got him. And like, they're just going to throw him down the chute or donate him to the University of Tennessee. But we took his thigh and we seared it. We had a professional, Thomas Keller's here, and he seared this guy's thigh with a pan sauce. Would you try it? You're
Okay,
not
so
getting in trouble.
both questions. The first one, uh, hunting him for sport. My immediate answer is like, no, like I didn't even hunt deer because
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't be
Well, because
arsed
the deer didn't do nothing to do to you.
As the British say.
Right.
But to be fair, situations like try to actually put yourself in this scenario and imagine this is real. You're at some member of the Illuminati's compound and this comes up and they
Right.
want you to do it, right?
Right.
Even if in your head you're like, when I get back, I'm gonna blow the whistle on this whole thing and blow it wide
And
open. But
it's a Hitler level guy.
in that moment, though, are you not gonna kind of feel like, well,
I
they'll
got to
kill
do this.
me next? Yeah,
Yes.
like I literally have to do this, or my life is in danger, and so I have to play along, and then get back to civilization and try to fucking tell on them or whatever. Like even if you have heroic intent, the reality is, if you find yourself in a scenario like that,
And
you're either gonna have to
eh,
stick to your principles, morally speaking, and also
die.
die probably,
Yeah.
or give in and play along with. Now, of course, if they're going to hunt the guy anyway,
You could
you
just
could
not
be out
shoot
there
him
running
yourself.
around with it. You could be out there running around with them with a gun or whatever, and not actually. And even if you could do the shit where like the guy with you sees him and lines up a shot, and you're like, oh fuck, I stumbled, trip
Right.
and fall into the guy. You could do some shit like that and pretend you're playing along. That's probably what I would end up doing if I felt like my life was threatened. I'd be like, yeah, let's do it, but I wouldn't actually be doing it. I'd be trying to pretend that I was playing along with them and hope that they didn't figure me out, I think is
Well,
what I
you
would
know
do.
that they've got all this on film because that's how they're going to keep you from telling on you. Like they're going to be like, "Oh, thank you for participating. By the
Right.
way, all of that was on
You're
film."
Yep,
So,
yep.
but
Mhm.
then they go back and review the film and they realize that you didn't play the game right. That's not
Right.
good either. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to
No.
because then they're like, "What do you think? You're better than us? You can't hunt this piece of shit." Because again,
Mhm.
now the bad thing is I think these people would not be hunting pieces of shit. They would just be hunting poor people. So
homeless people.
in my scenario, it's
Have
like
you ever
them
seen the
being-
mid-90s classic Surviving the Game starring Ice-T?
No, I haven't. Is it a little
Bro,
running
you
Manny?
got to watch it.
Okay.
It's literally it's Surviving the Game. It's like a take on the classic The Most Dangerous Game,
Right.
which was, which is about this rich people hunting poor people. Ice-T plays a homeless guy. And dude,
Okay.
the rest of the cast, the people that hunt him, it's like Gary Busey,
Oh, really?
Rutger Hauer, fucking shit. Who else is Charles S. Dutton is one of
Yeah.
them.
Wow.
And they're hunting Ice-T, who's a homeless guy. It's awesome. It's a cheesy B movie, like 90s action B
Yeah,
movie.
but those rule.
They do rule. It's awesome. It's great. But
Those
it's
rule.
about this, and he's just a homeless guy and they tell him like, we see potential in you. We've got an opportunity for it, that type of thing. And then he gets there and they're like, all right, run for your life. And they're hunting him. But it's pretty rad. I might show that to the boys soon, actually. They need a little, anti-capitalist propaganda. That's what I need
That's
to
true.
hit
That's
with.
true. A lot of great that stuff from that era.
Mhm.
We're probably
Now
about to
you're
start seeing a bunch of pro-capitalist propaganda, aren't we? Because Amazon is is heavy in the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. You feel like there'd already probably be some of it, but because at the end of the day, the people that have to make the stuff are still like artists and creatives or whatever.
Exactly.
And the ones who hit are not
going to do it.
make something like that. So you got stuff like Succession or whatever, which takes the piss out of those people, right? So
In other words, it'll get made. It just will suck.
right. So no one will really notice or care, probably.
Right.
But your second question was, I'm in a situation where this person is already dead and they've cooked him up. Now, you can dispute this if you want. I genuinely think that if I was in a shipwreck scenario and I'm going to die, that's one thing. But I really am kind of like, my
Grossed out.
stomach is kind of turned by the idea of
Thomas
eating
Keller cooked it.
human meat. Like I'm not just saying that to sound like a good dude. It really is. So I don't know if I would do that or not. Like you bring up bald eagle, and honestly, I'm like, I'm kind of curious.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm
The
curious.
thing's dead, all right, whatever. But because I remember once I read this Reddit post of this guy's famous Reddit post at this point, who I think he's in another country where I guess they let you do this. I don't think you can do this in America, but he had something go wrong with his foot or something. I don't know if the sugar took it or what, but they had to amputate this guy's foot. But they let him he asked if he could keep his foot, and they let him do it.
Yeah, they normally don't let you do that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. He must have been in a different country. I just don't remember which one.
Yeah, they do let you do it in different countries.
But he took his foot and went home, and he called all his friends, and they came over, and he butchered his own foot and made tacos out of it and fed it to all his friends. And they all knew.
Okay, they knew because
they knew. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. He was like, "We're all going to eat my
Is
foot."
that a crime?
And it should be if it isn't.
Yeah.
Again, this is a different country, so God only knows. But and that just I don't know, that
because the
bothered me.
foot, I don't want to even eat an animal foot.
Sure,
I'm
yeah.
talking about a thigh, boy, like a
Right. Yeah, I don't know,
like
man.
Stavros's thigh. Think about that shit. Like that would be.
Yeah,
But
highly
one.
for sure.
But one thing though is like I go, well, other animals taste good, and we're just animals. But then I go, yeah, but I don't want to eat monkey meat, because monkeys are all.
Monkey too. I have monkey too. If someone's like, "This is monkey meat,et," I would be like, I don't know.
No, I think
I'm
it'd be
grossed
gross.
out by that. Right. So why would you not feel the same way about a human?
Because because most monkeys are jacked, and I don't want all muscles. Some humans are fat. You know what I mean?
Well, you don't want just a totally fat, slovenly human.
No. You want it to be marbled, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, because hear me out. Because he's got fat now, but it's not complete. Yeah, he's too old.
He's about to say people. It's a known thing.
Hasbula, and you can spit roast that motherfucker. Just
he'd be good. Because I was about to say it's one of the cosmically hilarious facts of of our reality, and the idea of God being a real asshole is that every living creature that anyone would eat, the younger the specimen is, the tastier it is. So like babies of all fucking species are just the most delicious fucking
Yeah.
iterations of that
Ask
animal
the
or of that
Democrats.
creature. Right. And it's like, and it's such a wild thing for, if there
But, you
was a
know,
God, what a wild thing that would have been for God to decide,
I'm telling you,
that babies are the, but the inverse is true too. An old ass rangy fucking animal, the meat is not good and everybody
right,
knows that. So
right.
Arnold Schwarzenegger would be one of the worst people you could pick.
That's
I think.
true. Again, I'm leaning
When you
Hasbulla.
said Haspala, I can't argue with that. There's obviously not a lot. That's like a Cornish game hen
Yeah, 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 yeah.
of cannibalism.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
the
dude,
logic there,
I'd still be hungry. You know,
right?
like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. What was I gonna say? You know, I dispute
About
that
eating
though.
babies. About eating babies.
I've maybe mentioned it on the show. I know I had to have told you. And at first, I thought it was just like, oh well, I just had a bad piece. I've had it multiple times now. Dude, veal is not worth what they do. It's not. It's not worth what they do. Like everybody
I
goes
agree with
on
you.
and on about veal.
I mean,
It's not.
I think veal does hit,
Yes,
but
but it's not good.
it
It's
no
not as much good to be
better
like
than
to kill a
right,
baby cow. Like,
right.
because trust me,
I agree completely.
I've mainly eaten adult cows, and got to
Right,
tell you,
right. I agree
huge
completely.
fan of the adult cows. But I would,
Yeah, I would argue, and I'm sure I would argue veal like isn't even at all better. Do you know what
right.
I mean? Like let alone enough
It
better
it's
to
not.
justify
I
the
don't
moral
like it,
quandary. It okay, I'd like it just fine.
but I'd
But
rather
it's
not
not
have it.
better, it's not better than other options though
That's
when
what
it
I'm
turns to
saying. So
cows
like,
for
I don't.
sure.
Well, bro, there's not a single food that I don't like except for literally black licorice.
But
That's
see, but
it.
here's the thing though. Veal in my limited dumbass experience, I think I've literally only ever had veal in the form of Parmigiana, right?
Yeah, which does
What
hit.
well, you're not gonna that's what I'm saying. You're not gonna you can't Parmigiana a ribeye or a
Right,
filet or
right.
whatever, right? Like,
Nor
that
would
would
I
make
want
no
to.
sense. You wouldn't want that, to be insane. But Parmigiana, the dish, it does hit.
Right.
So what's the alternative? Is it the stuff what's the steak that they make country fried steak out of? Cube steak or something
Cube
where
steak,
it's like
skirt.
steak that's like beat all to shit with a
Yeah,
fucking
a
hammer or whatever?
skirt steak, right? Cubed, yeah.
I don't know, but I know it ain't just regular ass steak. You can't just country
Because that
fry
would be a
regular ass
crime.
steak. It'd be horrific. But
It also
country
would
fried
be
steak
harder to
hits,
eat.
right? But using that as an example, country fried steak is not veal, right?
Right.
And country fried steak fucking slaps, dude.
Dude,
Like
it's unreal.
easily as much as veal parmesan. So to me, it's just take that same country fried steak, cut of meat, and parmigiana that shit, and I think it would hit for me just as, if not more hard
Did
than veal does, I
did
think.
we have this conversation, or did I just see it on a, Instagram reel? Like, does the phrase "chicken fried chicken" upset you?
So it is cube steak. I had that
Cube
right. And
steak, yeah,
now,
right
as
on.
for what cube steak is, I'm actually not sure. Like I said, it's like a cheap cut of meat that's like tenderized, right? Like beat all the fuck.
Yeah.
It's a cut of meat, typically beef from lean, less expensive cuts that's been mechanically tenderized. So yes. So yeah, I'd rather have that than veal. So basically, veal is like if you take a baby cow and you torture it for a few months and then murder it, its meat is akin to that of taking an adult cow's cheap shit
Right.
and tenderizing the fuck out of it
Yeah, so
or whatever. But
just
just do the second thing.
just do the second thing. Let's talk about butts, baby. Let's talk about your stinky. I made that up. A-hole is only a naughty word if you wife, by the way. Yeah. Call the ref a skid mark. Don't call him an a-hole this Super Bowl because it's not a dirty word. You know, what do you give sports fan who has everything but a respectable defensive line? You give them a tushy bidet to soothe their stress hemorrhoids. You know, the loser in our fantasy league has to put like truck nuts on their car. Trae had to put a dildo on his head. Here's what we're doing this year. The winner is getting a tushy bidet. It is a daily luxury for your super bowel movements, easy to use, impossible to go back. I can tell you right now, I was out of town this weekend, and once again, I say, I hated every second of going to the bathroom in my hotel because I didn't have a tushy. And I keep saying I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get one to travel with. Okay. You've got to have it. I used to think it was just for rich people because the first time I ever used one was in the Watergate Hotel. Turns out it's not. When I heard about our friends at Tushy, it is my favorite part. Sometimes I just go in there and turn it on because who knows? You never know what's going on down there. Sometimes you just fart and you're like, ooh, that might itch when it dries. You know what I'm saying? I just go in there, read a book, douche my butt, come out, feel a lot better. If you had poop on your arm, you wouldn't just wipe it off. You'd at least spray it with something, do it with your butthole. You know what I'm saying? Tushy is the everyday luxury bidet that instantly transforms your bathroom habits and bottom health for life. And it's whether you're shopping for, your buddy, a CEO, a daddy, an activist, or someone who lights their farts on fire. It's the gift that refuses to pick a lane. And I don't know why they're just using all these male pronouns here. Women love them too. Why wouldn't they? Women got to clean themselves. It's practical. It's techie. It's easy to use. It's so easy to put in too. Here's how I know. I'm the one that did it. 99% of the people who wash with Tushy Wave feel cleaner and fresher after going to the bathroom. It instantly modernizes your daily routine. Super sleek. It's got a front and a rear nozzle, so you can do one in the pink, two in the stink, whatever it is you got to do. A soft close lid. It's absolutely amazing. It also is going to save you money on toilet paper. So remember, a-hole is only a naughty word if you wipe. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off their first bidet order when you use code POA at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com with promo code POA. That's HELLOTUSHY.com with promo code POA. Tushy, spray your butthole out.
Let's talk about stank. We all got it. We all do it. I think all of us. Maybe not like delicate 19th century geishas. They might not have stank. I don't know. But so otherwise, unless you've perfected an elaborate and unnecessary East Asian tea ceremony, you probably stink, right? At least now and then, if you don't take the steps to ensure that you stop or prevent stinking. Okay. It's just part of being human. You don't want to stink. All right. We ain't cavemen. All right. We know that smelling good hits harder than smelling bad. Right. And that's why I want to tell you about Mando, right? Because they've like really opened up my non-stank horizons. They really have, because I'm trash. We all know that. I was only ever taught that like deodorant just goes under your armpits, right? That's where the stank be. But then we all realized that no, the stank be all over. You can stink from all sorts of places, not just your armpits. You stink down there. You stink in the mud. If you got folds and folds, nooks, crannies, crevices, anywhere where like the sun dare not tread, you can find stank on a human body. And that's why Mando said, like, we need to cover all these places, not just armpits. What the rest of these deodorant manufacturers doing? They're leaving money on the table, not reminding people that they stink everywhere. Stupid. I'm surprised it took this long for somebody to come forward and start the anti-stank revolution, but Mando has done it. They have with their whole body deodorant, which from the moment they sent it to me, I now use it every day. Whole body deodorant, you can put it anywhere. Like I said, pits, balls, lady balls, thigh folds, belly button, butt crack, feet. You put it on your feet. Anywhere stank will no longer be if you use Mando's whole body deodorant, right? I'm a big fan. Mando was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal body odor was being misdiagnosed and mistreated and misunderstood, as I already addressed. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control your odor for up to 72 hours. They have a lot of product options, just so you know. It's not just the one thing, not just the whole body deodorant stick. They have a deodorant stick, but they also have spray deodorant. They have deodorant wipes. They have a lot of options. It's not just deodorants. They have other types of smell good over there. You can get like body wash, right? And they all have their fresh scents that they offer: bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, if you a geisha, like I said, Pro Sport. All their products are baking soda free, paraben free, just only the good. That's all they got over there at Mando. It's clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. All right. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle odor level was a 5 out of 10. But with Mando, the average Grundle odor level, 0 out of 10. No butt ball stank, none at all with Mando. Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. If you're sold on this, and let's be honest, you should be. then consider the starter pack. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like the aforementioned mini body wash and aforementioned deodorant wipes, and free shipping, completely free shipping. And now, as a special offer for our listeners, new customers get 20% off site wide when they use our exclusive code. So use the code POA at shopmando.com for 20% off site wide and free shipping. That's shopmando.com, SHOPMANDO.com, shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Mando's got you covered. All right. Use the code POA, 20% off site wide with free shipping at shopmando.com. They got deodorant and sweat control so you can say goodbye to sweat stains and hello to long lasting freshness with Mando.
Right. Have I showed you the video of that hitting Australian guy?
Well, you're gonna have to fucking narrow that down. What there's a lot of hitting Australian guys. What's he?
This guy really hits for me. Tell me if I've shown it on this show before, but I don't think I have.
Well, I went to a rodeo once as the rodeo clown.
Yeah.
And I got there at night. I think I had 7 fights in 5 hours. I only won 3 of them. My jaw broke and nose broke and both my eyes blackened. So I got into a bit of marijuana and a couple of bottles of rum, and that dulled the pain. That didn't work out. I ended up shitting myself. And then ended up sleeping with about 3 different girls over the weekend and rode a wild horse and a buck and bull and come home again. Most people haven't done that in a lifetime, have they?
That's right.
Not many people have only rode a few wild animals and shit themselves and had 7 fights. Most people haven't had 7 fights in their life, have they? No, that's living, mate. That's living.
That is fucking living.
You definitely at least sent that to me. I can't remember if we watched it on the show or you just sent it to me and I watched it. So like that, loved that. Hits me very hard. Absolutely loved it. Let me ask you this question. Imagine that dude has a redneck accent instead of an Australian accent.
Yeah.
It still hits and you enjoy it. You're having fun listening to it or whatever. But in that instance, does that not strike you as the like perfect example of like your classic bullshitter that we all know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like,
I'd be like, you didn't
know that guy. Yeah, right. It's like
you didn't fuck like 3 girls.
Exactly. It's like, come on, fucking Randy.
Man.
You didn't fucking do that. And
that's
it's like
so true.
I really think that just because they're foreign to us,
we believe it.
You hear that and you don't think about it in that way. But if you think about it in that way, again, dude still hit. Bullshitters often hit for people.
And he might be telling the truth. I mean, some dudes do exactly what he said.
I'm sure there's some truth to everything he said there. Especially, see, this is where like, and I don't think
this guy. I'm going to end up being this guy.
You kind of are, yes.
But I have to be older. You have to be older and fatter to truly be that guy.
You kind of have that thing that Bert also has, where it's like the idea of, you know, never let the truth get in the way of a good story or whatever.
And you shouldn't, especially if storytelling's your job.
And so, but I bet that weekend that dude's referencing, I bet it was a wild weekend and a lot of shit happened, right? I'm just saying I also am very confident it's embellished. But here's the thing I was going to bring up, though, and it's in that, like, does this come natural thing? Because I bet it does, because I don't think that dude conscientiously thinks about this. But including I fucked up and I shit myself, right? Mm-hmm. Like including that part in it.
Yeah, as a tale.
Is kind of a master stroke in my opinion. It is. Because it's like,
I can't seem like I hit too hard.
Exactly. But I don't think that he thinks that through. I think he just fundamentally understands it. I think that like all your best like natural born bullshitters, it's you can't coach that type of thing where it's like he just gets that. He gets that, like you said, it's like I can't hit too hard in this story or it will be a tale or whatever. So, you know, here's this part where I shit myself.
Right.
That will,
now people, why would he say that if it wasn't true?
Exactly.
And why would he say part's that true, the rest of it's true.
Must be true. Exactly.
I hate to do this. That's the reason I hate Trump so much. I would enjoy his stories because he does that shit. But he never includes the part where he shit himself. It's only positive. You know what I mean? He Kim Jong-un's it. If he would if when Trump was telling about all these great things that he did, if he would also include something like, but then, my toupee fell out or whatever, I'd go, all right, this guy, whatever. But he never does that. And that's how you know he's just a straight up fucking liar. And why this guy right here, while he may be, I don't know that he is.
Right.
I don't know that he is. He could be telling the truth.
People that that's the difference between just a pure narcissist who just wants to hit for everybody, but doesn't have the sort of wherewithal socially to understand how human beings actually work, and people that that get that whole dynamic. Because, and I'm not saying this dude's a narcissist. I'm not saying, but it just reminded me of our buddy Earl Brown, who's not the subject of the story, but our buddy Earl, who we love dearly and is one of the best character actors of the modern era.
One of the best actors of the modern era. He's absolutely amazing. If you don't know him, he played Dan Doherty in Deadwood. He was also the titular character in the Meatloaf biopic, and he played the R word in There's Something About Mary, possibly his best role. So well, in fact, that they wouldn't let him go to the premiere because they thought people are going to think that he's actually R-worded and this is not good.
I went with him once to a table read, right? And Josh Duhamel, I don't know if I'm saying his name
Josh
right.
Duhamel, yeah.
Josh Duhamel, he was
so
there.
hot. He's B-list Timothy Oliphant.
Exactly. That's exactly what he is. And it was so much out of if I had my own Larry David style, Curb Your Enthusiasm show, this was straight out of a scene from that show. I've been in Hollywood for less than a year. I go to this table read. I walk in and Josh Duhamel is holding court with everybody else, right? And he tells this story. And again, if y'all don't know who he is, look him up, remind yourself. He's gorgeous. He's chiseled out of stone. He's
Tad Hamilton, right?
Do what?
Wasn't he Tad Hamilton in Win a Date with Tad Hamilton?
I actually don't know that I ever saw that movie. Is that movie hit for you?
No, I've never seen it, but I've seen the poster, and it's just a good-looking guy.
All right. It was funny to me to think for a second that that was like a touchstone for you of that.
No,
era.
But fucking Failure to Launch is one of my favorite movies of all time, so it's not like it'd be weird.
So anyway, again, he's chiseled out of stone. I walk in the room, he's holding court, he's captivating everybody, and he's telling this story about the first time he ever flew in a fighter jet, right? So rad. So rad, so cool, so charming, so gorgeous, right? The whole time.
Smell good.
Part of the story, sort of like the punchline of it or whatever was, when they start doing all these crazy turns and stuff and hitting all these G-forces and shit, he pissed himself,
of
right?
Course.
And so it's ostensibly that's the point of the story. It's him being can you imagine how embarrassing for me? I'm with all these top flight elite Air Force guys or whatever, and I pissed myself. Fucking Hollywood actor pussy pisses himself, right? And it's that's how it's presented, but also it's a story about him doing super rad shit and being awesome the whole time. But he tempers it with I'm just a dude. I'm just a dude who pisses himself. It's I get embarrassed too or whatever. And it's that's the type of true charm and charisma, social capital and hitters and that type of that. They understand that type of shit.
They do.
That's where that's where you ingratiate yourself to people, is with that sort of thing.
Right. And you can't just not tell the story, because a dude like that, if someone's God, I hate this guy, all he ever talks about is all this rad shit he does. It's well, he would just never say a word if he wasn't allowed to do that, because when you're a dude like that, everything you do is rad shit. It's kind of we were talking about, and not to diss him, Kevin Hart's a great comedian, but when you do stand up, you write what you know and you talk about your life. And now his life is so far beyond comprehension of us that his comedy's unrelatable. But at the same time, it's he doesn't have normal interactions anymore. If you write about your day at the store, well, Kevin Hart's day at the store is going to be Kevin Hart going to the store, and it's going to be wild. And it's he's kind of screwed. You know what I mean? He's kind of
Yeah.
screwed to where it's
Well,
like
that's
you
why
either
that's why a lot of people argue that you have to do what Eddie Murphy did. Like a lot of
and
people,
quit. Just quit.
lament the fact that Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin
Steve Martin, yeah.
that people lament the fact that they quit, but because of what you're saying, at a certain point, which I feel like Kevin Hart has reached, like you almost don't have a choice. Like
If your comedy is biographical,
right,
like if your comedy is biographical, like Jim Gaffigan still just talks about food. So now he might be
Jim
talking
Gaffigan's
about
I absolutely love Jim Gaffigan, but he's not like a worldwide
no. Okay,
A-list
sure.
star the way Kevin Hart is.
Well,
But like Robin Williams,
Seinfeld.
Right.
Like Seinfeld's act hasn't been influenced by his millions because he's still
It's just
he
observational
still's
shit.
like, I want to talk about a ketchup bottle. But if your
and
act
Robin
is
Williams was like that too, like he was still
Right.
able to keep doing stand up and stuff
But-
because he talked about just observational shit in the world or whatever.
But some people, and I would include myself, I would include you, like there's a lot of us that are biographical comedians that like what we talk about on stage is how we perceive the world, things that have happened to us, you know, yada yada yada, and like eventually it gets to you. You know what I mean? And you can become so famous that it's like sometimes you're so famous that it's like, why are you even on a stage talking? You're you know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
Well, I think a lot of people, well, and that's why, like, part of me, like, sometimes, again, so now that we've talked further about it, Steve Martin is a bad example, actually, because he was like absurdist. That was his whole thing. He wasn't like super biographical. So, but like, as a comedy fan, sometimes I think about guys like Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy, and I'm like, oh, what a shame that was, or whatever. You know what I mean?
You get it.
But if I'm being totally honest, like you're right. Like at a certain point of like success or whatever, it's like you said, it's like what are you even doing, dude?
It's not your fault.
Right. Yeah. So no, you hit too hard. Good for you.
Right.
You've won, but like this ain't like for you anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it feels weird.
You can
like,
do other things. We can't do
it's
them
also
things.
like when someone's like incandescently megaton famous, even if they're not talking about it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing, because even if they're not talking about it, people are still like thinking about it. I think.
So like Victoria Beckham thing.
If Kevin Hart tries to do I was at the grocery store the other day story, and it has nothing to do with him being a megastar.
People are like, no, you weren't.
To it, like everybody's listening to it like that. No, that's not.
You didn't do that.
That is what happened. You're fucking Kevin Hart. Some weird shit happened. But if you tell the weird shit, people are like, this isn't relatable at all. So what the fuck do you do? You know?
There's also I wanted to talk about.
He's like, obviously, all of his fucking wildest dreams have come true. It doesn't suck.
Good for him. Like this is a champagne problem, but like there does get to a point where like you're so famous that like you just can't be in stuff because people cannot separate you, the person, from the like for instance, right now. Now the show sucks otherwise, but like Kim Kardashian is currently in a television show where she's an actress, right? Where she's an actress. Now,
I know.
Now, let me say this. She's a bad actress.
Sure.
But even if she wasn't, in my opinion, you can't just have Kim Kardashian as a character in a show because she is Kim Kardashian. The whole time, you can like, dude, obviously Meryl Streep is famous. She's a famous actress. But like when I'm watching Meryl Streep, I do get sucked into this is the character she's playing because she's so good at it. I don't give a fuck if you see Kim Kardashian the whole time you're going, well, that's Kim Kardashian. You know what I mean? Like
I do know what you mean. I feel like
can't
that's a completely different thing from like people in the comedy world or whatever.
No, it is. I'm just saying,
like if you get to that level while being a performer, people are not going to feel weird about seeing you perform or whatever. But
right.
Kim Kardashian got to that level of fame by completely different means.
You can't just put her in stuff.
You can't divorce her. I've not seen a single minute of that show, but I've seen the pictures.
The clips.
No, not even clips, pictures that have gone viral where like apparently she plays a lawyer in this show, but there's pictures of her wearing like a pantsuit, but the back of the pantsuit is missing and her ass is hanging out, and you can see like a whale tail thong in the back of her like lawyer clothes, and it's like, what the fuck is this all a bit? Like, have you
Right.
seen it? Is it a bit? Is it
I think this show is supposed to be taken seriously. But dude, bro,
That's
Sarah
insane,
Paulson,
dude.
Sarah Paulson is in this show, and like Sarah
Well, yeah.
Paulson,
Well, that's because it's a Ryan Murphy show, right?
of course, but like Sarah Paulson
She's a
is a
staple.
she is a staple. And dude, Ryan Murphy, like, how long are we going to let him get away with it? Like
He's done a lot of really great shit.
He has. He has.
Right, though.
He has, but he did a lot of really great shit. And then it's like it gave him carte blanche to do whatever he wanted. And it turns out
that
the
happens to
stuff he
everybody.
does.
Dude, fucking Taylor Sheridan's fallen victim to that, and I'm a huge fan of. But the same thing's happening to him. You know, like that's just what happens. I think.
But dude, why put Kim? I mean, I know you're like, well, I'm going to put Kim Kardashian in it because it'll get eyeballs on it. Yeah, but it's like, but it has to be good. But like, and I know Sarah Paulson is a staple of his world or whatever. But like, dude, she's way too respected to fucking agree to do something with fucking Kim Kardashian. Come on, bro. Like, it's just a slap in the goddamn face.
So can you put the screen share I'm putting up there? So this again, this is how I found out about the show. So that again. Apparently, this says her character is a high-earning elite powerhouse lawyer, a partner in a boutique law firm, right? And you said like the show it's not a joke. It's it's meant to be a real thing.
Right.
And this is just like an outfit she wore to work one day. And if you're only listening, like I said, her ass is hanging out and you can see her thong very aggressively through the back of it. And I'm just sitting here looking at this, like in a weird way, I start wondering, is this some kind of viral marketing thing or something? Because it makes me want to I'm so. It
you
almost
gotta
makes me want to watch
episode,
it because I'm like, am I missing something?
That's how I felt.
There has to be some context here that I'm missing because that is fucking insane. Like that's insane.
I want to give credit to one of my favorite subreddits that this came from. It's called Shitty Movie Details, and here's the. If you're just watching or if you're just listening, and it's this picture of her with her thong out or whatever. In All's Fair, Allura Grant is a high-earning elite powerhouse lawyer, a partner in a boutique law firm, and is walking around the office with her thong sticking out. This is a subtle illusion that her character is portrayed by Kim Kardashian.
Right. Which goes to your point exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't
it's
know,
one of those things where you wonder, it's like if you're gonna cast Kim Kardashian in a show, if it's like, well, if we're gonna have her in the show, we got to do some shit like this because that's what she does. I don't know.
Lawyer on earth would ever. Like, dude,
insane.
I've seen. I saw a clip the other day of a dude who was going into felony court. And it was extra funny to me because I have the exact same shirt. It was this black guy, and he had on a shirt that said, "World's greatest farter, father," which great shirt. One of my favorite shirts ever. Bane got it for me for Father's Day. And he's wearing that into felony court. And the judge loses her goddamn mind that he's wearing this shirt. Like, do you realize you're in felony court? Is that really the shirt that you think you should be fucking wearing? Which, by the way, I don't think a judge should be able to do that. Like,
I agree completely. No, fuck that. Fuck that judge. Get over your fucking self.
Because now she's leading the jury. Like, is it appropriate? Probably not. But he's still a human. He has the right to wear that shirt. And you, to me, as a judge who is supposed to remain impartial, aside from the facts that you're presented and what the jury gives you, you shouldn't be able to do any of that stuff. But my point
100%.
is that it clearly does. So you think a judge is just going to be like, oh yeah, don't worry, she just lets her ass hang out in court. Like, dude, do you think you got a jury of 8 men? They're going with Kardashian. They're going with her client. You know what I mean? You can't just be having your ass out. And world-class ass. Don't get me wrong. World-class, unbelievable stuff. But speaking of Hollywood people who are weird, and just, or not, I usually, whenever your MAGA chuds with their Oakley sunglasses in their profile talk about how Hollywood is like, oh, they're all just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. I'm always just like, oh, shut the fuck up. You just don't like it because some of them hate genocide. Shut up. But then every now and then Hollywood people will do some stuff where I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. And me and you've talked off mic about everything going on with the Wicked situation.
Yeah.
I have, and I love musicals, for the record, love musicals. And I love The Wizard of Oz world. I've never had a promo run completely turn me off of seeing something as I have the Wicked one. And here's the newest in line of how insanely and by the way, I'm not going to body shame because a lot of people were like making fun of Chadwick Boseman for being skinny and turned out he had cancer and yada yada. Now, it would be ironic if every single cast member in Wicked just all of a sudden came down with the same cancer. You know what I mean? But Cynthia Erivo, I think is how I'm supposed to say her name, and Ariana Grande have this like insanely symbiotic relationship where they must be cuddling in all interviews and also answer questions the way only insane people would. And here's the and they also they're overly emotional about stuff, and they are basically the poster children for wimpy liberals who need safe spaces, and it's so annoying and egregious. Here's the most recent one. The Wicked cast triggered during an interview by a helicopter. Have you seen this?
I have, yeah. Go ahead, play it.
I mean,
not the time, helicopter.
Like, okay, I understand. We've been on sets before where you're trying to get a shot and all of a sudden a big truck comes by and you have to, hey, hold for the truck or whatever. We know that's annoying. But this bitch looks like, this lady looks like this helicopter has called her family names. Like, she is visibly so upset. You have more context that's going to make me sound like an asshole.
I don't want to because I agree with everything you're saying, but I saw this and what I read was, so first of all, you talking about it like you were like, I've never had a movie's promo tour turn me off of a movie until, but it's like, this is the sequel. The same thing happened with the first one.
Right.
Like they did this
and
same
no
shit
one
with the
has
first one
corrected them.
and it was weird then. So like, I'm totally with you there. I just find they're just so strange and off-putting, and it's weird.
But I've seen them before, and they weren't. Like, Ariana Grande used to be normal. Cynthia Erivo was, I remember the press tour for Harriet. She was a normal person. Something has fucking happened to these people.
Well, maybe it's related to what we were just talking about, which is maybe why you brought it up, but talking about like comedians and stuff like that, where it's like their lives and worlds have gotten so alien that they've just gotten lost in it. I don't fucking know. But that particular clip, according to what I read, and I didn't fact check any of this, but it would be very easy to do because that's a clip taken from a larger interview. And according to what I read,
which I'll never watch.
Me neither. I don't want to, have no desire to. But according to what I read, if you watch the entire interview, what actually happened there is Cynthia Erivo or Revo, however you say it, she got into a very, touching and moving emotional anecdote about something in her life, right? Which again, I don't know what's about. So it could be one of her parents dying of cancer or something. I don't fucking know. It could be something totally legit. She was talking about something that was like difficult to talk about.
Right.
And in the middle of that, a helicopter shows up. And that's why Ariana Grande is like, not the time, helicopter, not the time. This is, really bad timing or whatever. And so it's like, she's very upset, not because of the helicopter, but because of what was going on before the helicopter showed up. But don't get me wrong, though.
She still should have played it off.
There's so many other clips and examples of them being insane from these two press tours that it's like, that fact does nothing to negate my general discomfort around their whole thing and what's going on there. It is weird, dude. It's weird. They're weird. The whole thing is fucking weird. And like you said, it's weird specifically in a middle America looks at it and is like, see, this is what these Hollywood people, what is this? They're not even, these ain't real people. What the fuck even is this? Like they play directly into that. in a way that's annoying, in my opinion.
First off, I would like to apologize for sharing something without context. It is still stupid to me, but obviously I'm part of the problem. But like, dude, I think actually, yeah, middle America's felt like that for a long time, but I bet you secretly, even up their own ass Hollywood is looking at this and going, what the fuck? Like, dude,
I mean, bro, I'm
you,
not actual hot, but I'm up my own ass Hollywood adjacent.
Yeah.
And I'm 100% looking at this like, good Lord,
dude,
guys,
I bet you Meryl Streep
rein it in a little bit. I
bet you Meryl Streep is cringed out by this shit. Like, I don't think, like, that's how bad it is, yet they're the representatives for, and also, like, it's not, she wasn't even this emotional for Harriet. You know what I mean? For Harriet. This is wicked, for God's sakes. Like, does every promo have to be, save it for the memoir, lady, is all I'm saying. It's just awkward. But also, man, they looking gaunt. And there's also, there's an Asian woman that's in it too, and she looks the same way.
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh, yeah.
Dude, she's a superstar, dog.
I know. Shut up. I'm in the middle of something.
Right. But you're right.
But she's also gone. My point is like,
weird.
I didn't want to say anything at first because of the Chadwick Boseman thing, but all three of them have lost 90% of their body weight.
Yeah.
What the fuck is happening?
It's weird. I know people have been like speculating. They're like, is there some kind of like production specific cult that these people are engaged
seems like
with?
it.
It's like, fucking, why do they all look so gaunt? Why do you get Michelle Yeoh, who's like awesome and has been like
and hot
action?
She was everything everywhere all at once, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like a fucking,
dude, I didn't recognize her because I only saw the
star
picture.
Or whatever. Right. And she joins this production and turns into a fucking skeleton, whatever. Like, what's up with that?
That's why I didn't recognize her.
It's weird. The whole thing is fucking weird.
Yeah, that's why I didn't recognize her, because it was just 3 pictures of them, and like she didn't look like it looked like a person I'd never seen. Like you shouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I mean, that could be just as simple as like they're all kind of almost passive aggressively competing with each other. Almost, you know what I mean?
It could be an eating disorder, and I'm being rude.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But I'm just saying, it's like it's like a cyclical thing where they all feed into each other, where it's like they're all together on the same thing. And so it's like, oh, well, she's skinny. I can't be the one who's not skinny. I got to be skinny too. And it's like, and they all have that going in all 3 directions or something. It could be as simple as that. I don't know, but it's when you couple their fucking, again, oddly almost inhuman behavior that they have with their gaunt transformations physiologically that they've undertaken. Like, the whole thing is just, it's strange. It's just strange. I don't care. I don't feel like to me, that's not like misogynist or middle American chud behavior or nothing.
No.
It's like, that's just, it's like, dude, the shit is fucking weird. It's weird.
It's weird.
And
odd and up your own ass and whatever. Well, anyways, we'll get off them because I don't want to accidentally body shame, and I was leaning into that territory. Hey, something I've been dying to tell you for a couple weeks. Dude, do you remember, and this is related, we actually talked about both of these things on the show at the same time, but didn't realize there was connection. You know how we were talking about how hard those Got Milk commercials went in that campaign?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who not only wrote them, but won a Clio award for them, which is a Clio is the award for, it's like the Oscar for advertising. Jerry Seinfeld won one for the American Express commercials.
Yeah, and then he very famously shit on the whole proceeding when he accepted it, right? Yes, it was fired.
Do you know who wrote the Got Milk commercials? Richard Jenney.
What? Holy
Richard
shit. What?
Jenney. And we had been talking about Richard Jenney. Like, we were talking about Richard Jenney and Got Milk, but like, I just like, and we'd always mention, I was like, I've talked about like the Geico commercials and like the Emu, like some of these commercials are really, really, really funny. And I'm like, they have to have actual comics on staff because like, if these regular advertisers were just this funny, they'd go right for SNL or whatever. So I Googled the Got Milk thing, and yeah, Richard Jeni won a Clio for his work on the Got Milk campaign. He's the reason.
What?
Is that not fucking crazy?
Yeah, that's like fuck. Is it? I might have this wrong. I think not though. But it's close to this. If this isn't right, but I'm loving it. Right, McDonald's. Obviously.
McDonald's, yeah.
You know who that was?
It was a rapper.
It's Pusha T.
Pusha T. It was Pusha T.
Pusha T came up with "I'm loving it," and so that like he probably makes untold
So
millions
much.
every year from that, and that's so nuts.
It's nuts
because also you hear that, and it's like on the one hand you hear that, and you're like, that's nothing. What is that? But it's catchy. It works. Someone had to come up with it,
of course.
But it's fucking wild that it was him. Again,
okay,
I hope
let's
I have
do
that
this.
right. It definitely was a rapper.
It's Pusha T. I remember it. All right, let's do this. Number one, a very common thing that I do. I think I would hit at that. I think I'd be a good jingle person. Okay, let's go down the line. I want your most memorable jingles, because obviously the point of a jingle is that it gets stuck in your head. I'll do one and then you do one until we can't do them anymore. So I'll start with By Menon.
That's a good one. God damn it. This is one of those things where it's like I could come up with a million of them until you put me on the spot. But also
break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
So it is Pusha T, by the way, but upon Googling this, apparently one of the great regrets of Pusha T's creative life
is that he did it.
That he did that for a one-time fee. He doesn't get royalties.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro.
Brutal.
Oh my fucking God. That happens more than you'd think with some session people that like they'll go in and like you understand. Now with McDonald's, dog, you've got to think long term. But there's some session people that go in and like the rock stars or whatever, they'll be like, hey, we'll either give you $25,000 to sit in or 1% of the album sales. And it'll be like a band that nobody's there. And they'll be like, well, I'll just take the money right now. And that song will end up going whatever. But you couldn't have known either way. But Pusha, it's McDonald's, dog. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Oh,
here's some that come to mind, which are not nowhere near the top. They're just the ones that pop to my mind. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Yeah. I always like that. O'Reilly's Auto Parts.
Did you see where this couple, do I know that they're from the Midwest? No. Are they? Absolutely. This couple got married and they were such big fans of that jingle that they hired the original people who did that jingle to do that jingle at their wedding.
Okay. Was the husband's family name O'Reilly?
I don't know. That would make sense.
If it was, and then they had plenty of disposable income, I can allow for that.
Okay.
If neither family was actually the O'Reilly family, then that's one of the most insane and ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, so it depends.
What is Cokes? Well, Cokes just had "I'd like to buy the world," but that's not really. When does it become a song instead of a jingle? I feel like there's like once it gets past 10 seconds, it's a song.
Yeah, this is one of those things where we're definitely pissing the people off because people are listening to this and immediately a jingle pops into their head and they're like, "How are they not saying this jingle?"
Mentos, the fresh.
I had Mentos was on my list. I was going to bring that. Yeah, but even that, it's like.
That's just a phrase.
Is that a jingle or a catchphrase? Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, I'm loving it. Mentos. Is that a jingle or a catchphrase?
I know, but did
he do the da 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 da?
I was about to say it has the da 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 da.
Did he do that part?
Loving it. I mean, that's always been my assumption.
Yeah. God damn, one-time fee. What a dumbass, Pusha T. That is That's
right.
very difficult.
Well, I think what we should do is maybe to make a note and table this and come back with a
Yes,
better list
that's
and
true. I
maybe
agree.
you want to go to airmail and
One more
bring this
thing,
home?
and then airmail, because this has been
Okay.
sort of an ongoing saga related to airmail, because we got this airmail last week that let us know what the Shamwell guy was up to, and then I guess my phone was listening to me because it showed me his campaign video on Instagram.
I've seen it.
Here's the Shamwell guy.
Is there something creepy looking at your TV? Who you gonna call? Whoa, Busters! Transmission light comes on. That's Jack for a dawn. Who you gonna call? Whoa, Busters! I ain't afraid of no woke.
I ain't afraid of no woke.
I ain't afraid of no woke.
What is he spraying them with?
When the melanin
Poop? I don't know.
is way too thin. Who can you call? Whoa, Busters! When this fence is on, need an overhaul. How? Who you gonna call? Whoa, Busters!
And if you're just listening, they're only letting black people into college.
I ain't afraid of no woke.
He's not afraid of no woke.
Whoa, Busters!
It's just
Wanna be true?
is the music from this gonna fuck us, you think, on YouTube? Or whatever?
Well,
He's obviously doing. He's making a parody.
It's a parody,
Which means it's not exactly the same
it's
music.
not exactly the same music, and also there's ways to get around it.
So-
we can submit the thing, but
Yeah, what's insane that whole deal with that dude has been such a Bader Meinhof phenomenon thing for me over the past couple of weeks, because he came up totally organically while we were just talking about TV pitchmen, right?
Mhm.
And he just came up and I was like, yeah, the ShamWow guy, he was a wild motherfucker, right? And we left it at that because we didn't know. And then somebody wrote in and was like, he's running for Congress, right? But then this week on Skews, the opening part, Mark, not knowing any of that, Smart Mark was like, he's like, hey, do you remember the ShamWow guy?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. In fact, we were just talking about it. And he played that video and went into a whole thing ripping on him or whatever. And so it's just like, that dude hadn't come up in
We
fucking 10,
influence
15
culture.
years. It's just why I don't know, the simulation or something, whatever it is. It's
No,
just wild how like
Trae.
things just come up and then they're just there.
Putting on airs influences culture. I've been saying it for a long time.
man, you've got the shine.
I've been having it.
He announced his candidacy in Texas, and it's wild as hell. And we didn't conscientiously know that.
No,
But somehow we knew to bring him up.
We did.
We
did.
We just sense the what's going on in the ether or whatever. I mean, no, I don't know. Obviously, it's just a complete coincidence, but it's wild because that fucking dude. But yeah, that whole dude, it's just such easy bullshit. Like the whole woke thing, like. Literally, what's the whole idea? You come up with woke busters, right?
Woke busters.
That's
He's busting woke.
Play the
And
song.
he was spraying people, but he was spraying people with this
Yeah, what
brown
is that?
liquid. It seemed like he was making them black.
Yeah, right. What is that? Fucking yoo-hoo? Right.
Yoo-hoo, yeah.
That's not like it's not like
None of it has to
righteous
make sense.
Christ juice, like
Right.
like how is that supposed to make any sense? Like anyway, the whole thing's ridiculous. But
Hey,
that dude been a lunatic though, so whatever. I look forward to his congressional career.
Me too.
Anyway,
I don't know why I feel like doing this, but I'm in a good mood. I'm gonna hit us with some lounge music for the airmail. I just feel like it gives a nice little vibe. What do you think? What's this doing
I
for
like
you?
it. I like it. Are you about to read like sexually charged airmail? I feel like I'm in a penthouse. What they call that? What penthouse call that? Penthouse.
Dear penthouse
review or
penthouse. The penthouse review, or The Penthouse Forum?
Penthouse Forum, I think.
Penthouse Forum, okay.
I think that's right. Penthouse Forum. Yeah.
Okay. Remember, you can email us at puttingonairs@gmail.com, and we really hope that you do. Subject line, doctors can't doctor no good. One toe away from a diagnosis. Hey, fellas, longtime skewer here. This is in reference to doctor shit y'all were yammering about, and specifically getting a wrong diagnosis. Trust me, it's a good story. My father-in-law is what we call colloquially a downeaster. It's basically a northeastern coastal redneck. Anyways, he had been having a lot of pain in his legs for some time, and his doctor had diagnosed him with a pinched nerve in his back. He sent him to physical therapy and chiropractor, who he nicknamed Dr. Crack. He did this for 2 years with very little success. Well, one day he saw a large gray squirrel in his bird feeder and did the only thing any self-respecting redneck would do and went to the closet for his .22 Magnum revolver. He took one step out the door and bang, he had shot himself and mangled one of his toes. So like many 70-year-old men, he thought he'd just soak it and keep it clean and hope for the best. He ended up in the hospital a week later, and after much poking and prodding, the new, to him, doctor found that his veins and arteries in his legs were clogged with plaque. I think it's called pad disease. Long story short, he had multiple surgeries, including one bypass, and is on his way back to being a healthy and grumpy-ass old man. Just like the good fake Lord intended. Doctor shit be wild. Keep up the good work, fellas, and yes, you can say my name, Alexander Fakashilio. P.S. I'd love to hear you, Trae in particular, attempt to pronounce my spaghetti-ass last name. Okay, Trae, it's...
You just did it.
Yeah, it's Faccioolo.
Faccioolo.
Yeah.
Faccioolo. Fuck. Faccioolo. Focacciolo.
There you go.
Focacciolo.
Focacciolo. I love it. Okay.
Focacciolo. Yeah, I don't know. I ain't got nothing better, but yeah, but that also like they left out how central to that story the squirrel was.
Yes,
that squirrel
that saved his
sacrificed
life.
his life. I imagine that. I mean, I'm assuming that the spaghetti
ended up
papaw in
shooting
question murdered the shit out of that squirrel, but that squirrel gave his life to fix your papaw or your dad's blood vessels. So
he sure did. Subject line, Connecticut burgers. Hey, y'all, senior New England correspondent Travis here. I don't know the rules about discussing other Skewniverse shows on Putting on Airs. We'll allow it because it'll give us a chance to promo well read. So I'm mostly writing this for to hit and not for on-air reading purposes. Oh, never mind. Should have edited that. I'll just send it to you. How do that work, though? Hey, gents, first time, long time and all that. I was listening to the pod y'all did about, well, how does all that shit work? And I was laughing my whole ass off. I'm a mechanical engineer with a long career in electronics, machinery, etc. I was shouting out loud about how microphones work while listening and losing my mind. Would absolutely love to talk to you about how shit does work. Phone, email, text, etc. Let me know if you're interested. Love you like biscuits and gravy. Cheers, Rob. Hey, Rob, why don't you just send a voice message to this email and I'll read it and play it.
So that we either got a strikingly similar message from someone else with the same credentials, or that's the second time you've read that one, or they resent the same message.
It's probably that. It's probably that. Okay. Heirloom portraits. Have just listened to this week's episode, and while I'm definitely the least posh person I know, I think I still got to 12. You reminded me of a story. My great-great-grandfather was a ship's captain, and as such, was fancy enough to have had his portrait painted. The portrait was a pride of place in the house, and everyone always commented on how much my grandfather looked like him. One day, he and his brother were moving the house, and the portrait accidentally fell off of the back of the truck. My grandfather was the most quiet, softly spoken man, and I doubt anyone ever suspected him. I'd give anything to have that portrait now. I could mount it above my great-grandmother's crystal cabinet and play pretend posh. Anyways, love the podcast. I'm heading out now to get tater tots. We call them potato gems and duck fats.
What?
And duck fat. Stay fancy. Tater gems. How about that?
Where did they say they're at or from? I
Let's
messaged her for y'all.
see.
Tater Gems? Never in my
Yeah,
life
she
heard that.
didn't
I
say
mean,
where
I
she's
I
from.
mean, that kind of makes sense. Tater Gems. If you Google Tater Gems, it brings up tater tots. But like, they're kind of vaguely gem shaped, you know.
Sure. Yeah, they're gems.
Yeah,
Dear,
I don't know. I can't find the origin of that. Tater Gems was, but anyway, yeah. But I like that though. I mean, I do like that, but it also feels a little putting on airsy to me.
it does, which I like.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, you know, they're tots. What do you
They're
call them?
tots.
Although, but what even is a tot other than a small child? So
Right.
you know, but calling them gems feels a little uppity, but in a way that I can appreciate.
I
So,
enjoy it. An ode to Applebee's. Dear Trae and Corey, I know I wrote y'all about burgers the other night, but I was home for the holidays and drunk, so that don't count. Boys, I am shocked and appalled by the total lack of respect from you two toward the great American institution that is Applebee's. Is it a Michelin star restaurant? Surely not, but it fills a crucial slot in the dining scene that I like to call good enough all the time. No matter where you are in the world, that Bourbon Street chicken and shrimp is going to hit the same damn way. I'm from a rural Connecticut town that had our heroin crisis long before the Sacklers brought us Oxycontin because we never got fully back on our feet after the thread mill left town in the 1970s. Prior to Applebee's, our dining options were essentially fast food. Basic shit, KFC, Taco Bell, pizza places, yada, yada. A handful of actually nice places that were so far out of our usual price range that it was really just for most special of occasions. But when Applebee's came to town in 1999, y'all, we felt like we had arrived. I still remember that first time we went there during their first week of operation. That place was bumping. Every table and bar seat was full. The waiting area was full. The benches outside were full. And people were sitting in their cars patiently waiting for those little buzzers to start lighting up and vibrating to tell us our table was ready, which in and of itself felt like alien technology to our backwards ass. And boys, I cannot put into words how euphoric those mozzarella sticks were to my little 8-year-old self. Once we finally sat down to eat that night, they were perfectly seasoned and crispy. The hot, luscious oil erupted on that first bite, and the cheese pull just kept going and going all over like a handkerchief from a clown's sleeve. I've been chasing the high of that night my entire life. Applebee's was there for me in college too. There was one right down the road from my campus, and while that random middle of the day happy hour was wasted on most people, my broke ass took great pleasure in the appetizer trio and drink specials at 3 p.m. between classes. Even today, yuppie-eyes redneck that I am, I'll hit up the Applebee's a couple times a year for what my roommate and I call our white trash days. On these most sacred of days, we go to an Applebee's in the middle of the day, get lit on Brutus's and massive perfect margaritas before going on a thrift store shopping spree and hitting up a matinee movie. We'll actually be doing that later this month when the new Avatar comes out, and I'll be sure to order the white trashiest drink they have on the menu in U2's honor. Love y'all like chicken, wonton tacos from Applebee's, which is to say, a lot. Okay. One more. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Trey.
I don't know about no. I respect that. I do. I disagree, but I get it because it's like I have fond memories of the Chili's.
Oh, Chili's rules.
Okay, well, see, right, but I think it's fair to acknowledge that even though both you and I both have a shared experience and we're in different places, it could be just a matter of that particular franchise or geography or whatever. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it could have been if I was coming of drinking age in the same place this person was, it could have just as easily been Applebee's, and I might be defensive about Applebee's to that day were that the case. So
I respect it.
I can allow for that. I respect anybody that'll go to bat for their me too. Their trash persuasions that they have.
Me too, and I do it. I do it, just not with Applebee's. Right. Subject line: cuter than you think. I finally saw a picture of Corey without his cap on, and you were so adorable. Take the cap off and own your cuteness. Strongly disagree. I'm hideous. And Ringbald with the tuft, don't play. Trey, where you gonna be this week, baby?
That's it. That's the whole message. They're right. You should free the bee. You know, I've been encouraging you to free the bee for years now. Embrace it. You have the best. You literally have the platonic ideal
Look,
of a head or a skull for someone who is inflicted with male pattern baldness. Like
look how horrible.
It's impossible to have a hit in her head.
No, I have the worst
Being
head.
bald than you have. So I agree with that person. But I will be in Fort Wayne. And if you listen to this on Friday when it comes out, I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana tonight and tomorrow. Please come to the shows if you're in the area. If you're not, check out my tour dates at TraeCrowder.com. Me and Cho and Drew will be together once again, as we are every year, the weekend before Christmas at Zany's in Nashville. Well-read home for the holidays. That's also at TraeCrowder.com, and all my other dates in 2026, of which there are many. They're all listed there on the website. One last time, TraeCrowder.com. Check it out. Come see me, please.
Do all that. And also go to CoreyWritesForYou.com. That's my Substack. Thank you all for making me number 5 in humor this week. I'm right behind Dave Barry, son. Something is wrong with their algorithm, but I will take it. Today, I just released the latest Chickaluki Times Free Press letter to the editor, and it was from Miss Nettie Potter, who is upset that the town of Chickaluki's Meat and Three has switched from Coca-Cola products to Pepsi products. So you can enjoy that and all the universe of Chickaluki at CoreyWritesForYou.com. Come see us in Nashville and stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Skew.
Skew. Skew. Here's Lydia Lovelace.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at putting on airs, putting on airs, putting on airs.